Welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Chapter 81 Joining Anbu. Seeing Tsunade's face flushed with embarrassment, Jiraiya felt a sense of accomplishment. In the entire Konoha, he is the only one who can make Tsunade treat him like this and show such an expression. Back in the house, Jiraiya pulled Tsunade into his arms and kissed her passionately again. Amazingly soft, giving Jiraiya a new experience every time. Jiraiya didn't stop until Tsunade went limp. Okay, let's eat. Tsunade said with tender eyes. The water is about to come out. Today I will join Anbu and serve as the captain of a team. When you go home, you can tell Orange Water the news. Jiraiya said as he picked up the bread and took a bite. His joining Anbu is definitely good news for the Senju clan. Because he joined Anbu, he is now able to control some of the power in Konoha. In some places, we can already provide help to the Senju people. The Senju clan wanted him to date Tsunade because they saw his great value. I believe Tsunade will pass this message back. The top leaders of the Senju clan will surely be delighted and increase their investment in him. Those forbidden techniques Senju should give him some. Now, after so much time has passed, the Senju clan has not given him a single forbidden technique. They are just waiting and watching. Afraid of wasting money on white hits. Teacher actually asked you to be the captain of the Anbu team. Tsunade said in shock. Anbu is the direct subordinate unit of Hokage, and those who can join Anbu are the elite ninjas of the village. Especially when they are Anbu squad leaders, they are extremely powerful, almost possessing the strength of an elite Jonin. Jiraiya has just passed the Jonin assessment, and is able to directly serve as the captain of the Anbu team. This shows that the Hokage thinks highly of Jiraiya. This is definitely great news for the Senju clan. You have to know that Jiraiya is still young. After a period of time, when his strength is improved, he may be able to become the captain general of Anbu directly. He instantly became a high-ranking official in the village. By that time, the situation of their Senju clan will definitely be greatly improved. Don't be so shocked. With my abilities, being the captain of the Anbu squad is just basic operation. Jiraiya took a sip of milk to signal Tsunade to calm down. The elders and Brother Orange Water will definitely be very happy to hear this news. Tsunade said with a bright smile. I am the leader of the Anbu squad, so you have to give me some rewards, right? Jiraiya asked after breakfast, lifting Tsunade's chin. You're so mean. You only told me yesterday that you passed the Jonin test, but you didn't tell me that you would be the captain of the Anbu division. I'm not stupid. Let's talk about why I asked you for 2 rewards. Jiraiya deliberately didn't mention this matter yesterday. So what reward do you want this time? Tsunade asked, looking down. Jiraiya stated his request. Tsunade said with a blushing face. You can learn if you don't know how to do it. Anyway, I'm durable and I can keep up with you until you slowly find the technique. You can rest assured about that. I'll take that as your consent now. After Jiraiya finished speaking, he didn't give Tsunade a chance to speak, picked up the Thunder Flame Blade and rushed towards the Hokage building. Teacher, it seems that you have to stay in the office all night again. If you keep doing this, aren't you afraid that your wife will be angry with you? When Jiraiya entered the Hokage's office, he saw smoke everywhere, a thick layer of documents on the desk, and Sarutobi Hiruzen looked very tired. Especially next to the desk, there was a shadow clone of Sarutobi Hiruzen standing and also looking through documents. Now Sarutobi Hiruzen's wife, Sarutobi Bawako, is at the age of being as vigorous as a wolf. Sarutobi Hiruzen works overtime here every day, and he is not afraid of a fire in the rear. I have so many things to do recently that I don't have time to go home. If you have time, you can come to my house and talk with your wife. Sarutobi Hiruzen put down the document in his hand and said helplessly. Now that the war is about to begin, the mobilization of ninjas and the preparation of various resources, as well as the battle plans written by the major families, all need to be reviewed and signed by Sarutobi Hiruzen one by one. Even with the assistance of Shadow Clone, it still cannot be handled in a short time and we still have to work overtime for a long time. Jiraiya was slightly stunned, not expecting Sarutobi Hiruzen to actually say that. Okay, teacher. I will find time to visit your wife in the future. Jiraiya nodded and agreed. You are so outstanding and love the village so much. Your master's wife likes you very much. You two will definitely get along very happily. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a smile. Jiraiya's expression became somewhat unnatural. This seems to be getting more and more distorted. Jiraiya nodded. This is your identity token in Anbu combat uniform. From today on, you will officially become a member of Anbu. Sarutobi Hiruzen took out a summoning scroll, slapped it, and a waist badge, a set of clothes, and a special mask appeared on the desk. Jiraiya took it. The waist badge is made of ordinary wood, with secret characters engraved on one side and command characters engraved on the other side. The badges of ordinary Anbu members only have secret characters, and only the captain's badge will have the order characters engraved on the other side. As for the level, it is entirely distinguished by the color of the command characters. The Anbu captain's command letter is red gold. The word on the Jiraiya token is light gold. The command letter of an ordinary team leader is dark red. As for combat uniforms, they are woven from a special material. This combat uniform is very strong and difficult to break with ordinary blades. It is also extremely resistant to high temperatures and is resistant to fire-style ninjutsu. Of course, it also has the effect of resisting and reducing the power of other kinds of escape techniques. It's just not as obvious as with the fire-style technique. Combat uniforms like this are extremely rare, even though Konoha is the largest ninja village. Only Captain Anbu can wear one, and the rest are only available to core members of the major ninja clans. As for Jiraiya's mask, it is not an animal pattern, but is painted with crimson stripes, the color is like magma, and it still looks very handsome. After becoming the captain of Anbu, Jiraiya's status naturally rose. From then on in Konoha, only the Hokage could give him orders, and no one else could order him to do anything. Some ordinary jonin in the village, high-ranking officials like Homura can still give them orders and assign them tasks at will. But they have no right to order Anbu to do anything. Chapter 82 I'm optimistic about you. Jiraiya, you are in charge of a total of 3 teams, one of which you have already seen yesterday. It is the team led by Yuhi Junma. You all already knew each other yesterday, so I don't need to introduce them to you again. The other 2 teams should be on their way. You will be able to meet them later. When there are no missions on weekdays, you have to take some time out every once in a while to train them and develop tacit understanding with them. I believe it should be easy for you to do it. Sarutobi Hiruzen said as he blew out a puff of smoke. Teacher, don't worry. As long as it's something you ask me to do, I promise to complete it successfully. Jiraiya responded. With his current strength, there is no problem for him to train the Anbu team. Jiraiya, as long as you work hard in Anbu, I will hand over the entire Anbu to you in the future. Sarutobi Hiruzen now thinks highly of Jiraiya and has regarded Jiraiya as his future successor. In the past, the person he valued most was Orochimaru. But now that Jiraiya has shown amazing talent, people naturally tend to favor Jiraiya. As for Orochimaru, of course he will not give up and will focus on training him. After all, Jiraiya also needs help. With Orochimaru's talent, even if he cannot match Jiraiya in the future, he can still become Jiraiya's solid and powerful arm. Thank you for your trust, teacher. After becoming the chief commander of Anbu, he has completely joined the upper echelons of Konoha. As long as his military achievements and reputation are sufficient, he will be able to compete for the position of Hokage. It seemed that Sarutobi Hiruzen now considered him as his successor. If nothing unexpected happens, the position of Hokage is secure. I hope you will not let me down for my trust in you, and will not let down the village for training you. Sarutobi Hiruzen said solemnly. Teacher, protecting the village is what I should do. I will spend my whole life to make the village stronger. I will regard the village as my everything and dedicate my whole life to it. Jiraiya said excitedly. As expected of my disciple, no one understands the will of fire better than Jiraiya. Sarutobi Hiruzen was quite satisfied. It wasn't long before 4 Anbu members arrived at the Hokage's office. Greetings, Hokage-sama. After the Anbu members entered the office, they all knelt on one leg and spoke respectfully to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled and nodded. Then Sarutobi Hiruzen told Jiraiya the names of these Anbu members and the ninjutsu they were good at. These 4 Anbu members are all elite chunin, only one is from the civilian world, and the other 3 are family ninjas. They are ninjas from the Inoshika-cho clans. From today on, Jiraiya is your captain, and his orders are my orders. You must do your best to complete the orders he gives. Sarutobi Hiruzen said seriously. Hokage-sama, we will carry out the orders given by Jiraiya-sama even if it costs us our lives. Anbu members immediately expressed their opinions. Everyone, please don't be restrained by me. I have just joined Anbu. We can teach each other in the future. We are all companions in the same village. I believe that together we can make better contributions to the village in the future. Jiraiya said with a big smile on his face. Seeing Jiraiya so easygoing, the Anbu members relaxed a little. Jiraiya chatted with them for a few more words, and Sarutobi Hiruzen asked them to leave. Teacher, from what I understand, a complete Anbu team should consist of 1 Jonin and 3 elite Chunin, just like the team led by Yuhi Junma. Why do these 2 Anbu teams only have 4 elite Chunin in total? Jiraiya asked in confusion. That's because it will help you gain a foothold in the Anbu. I promoted those 4 Chunin just now, and they will not disobey your orders. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't hide anything from Jiraiya and told him the reason directly. Originally, these 2 teams were very close to Danzo, and most of the team leaders and team members were promoted by Danzo. Originally, Sarutobi Hiruzen asked Danzo to lead the Anbu to carry out the mission, and he could turn a blind eye to such things. But now that Danzo has left Anbu, Sarutobi Hiruzen will naturally have to clean out the people Danzo left in Anbu. If it is not cleaned up, Jiraiya will definitely find it extremely difficult to manage it, and some of Anbu's information will also be leaked. This is what Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't want to see. Thank you for your hard work, teacher. Jiraiya said with a very touched look on his face. He wanted to squeeze out a few tears, but his acting skills were not that good and not a single tear fell, so he had to give up. Teacher, Tsunade and Orochimaru are almost as strong as Jonin. Why don't we leave these 2 positions to them? After all, we all have a good understanding of each other. Letting them be the team leaders will make it much easier for us to carry out missions in the future. Jiraiya suggested. Your idea is good. I have the same plan. As for the other team members, if you have suitable candidates, you can recommend them. I will consider it carefully. Sarutobi Hiruzen said as he nodded. In the original Hokage story, Orochimaru once stayed in Anbu for a while, and then Danzo found a way to get to the route. After joining the route, Orochimaru began to completely embark on his scientific research journey. As for whether Tsunade had ever joined Anbu, Jiraiya didn't know. But Jiraiya believed that once Tsunade had the strength of a Jonin, it would not be a problem for him to strongly recommend him to join Anbu. After Tsunade joins Anbu, she can go with him when she leaves the village to perform missions. By then you will be able to keep breastfeeding. Jiraiya, now that you and Tsunade have such a good relationship, have the Senju ever given you any trouble? If they give you a hard time, I can help you out. Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly changed the subject and turned the topic to the Senju clan. He and Tsunade were getting so close now, there was no way Sarutobi Hiruzen wouldn't notice. Teacher, I am your apprentice. How dare the Senju clan make things difficult for me? Jiraiya had already thought of an excuse. That's good. The Senju have many rules and they are very strict with their members. If the Senju make it difficult for you to interact with Tsunade, you can always come to me. Tsunade is a nice girl, you have to seize the opportunity. I don't want to hear about you snooping in the women's bathhouse again. Tsunade has terrifying strength, as you know. If you get hurt because of this, the ninja hospital will definitely not treat you. I've already informed them. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a smile. Judging from Sarutobi Hiruzen's attitude, he doesn't seem to be disgusted with his relationship with Tsunade at all. Instead, he wants to provide support. Chapter 83. You are worthy of being my disciple. At the beginning, Jiraiya and Tsunade suddenly became close. Sarutobi Hiruzen actually wanted to stop it. If Jiraiya gets too close to the Senju clan. When Jiraiya grows up in the future, if they want to suppress the Senju clan again, Jiraiya will most likely disagree. They don't have to consider Jiraiya's opinion now, but when Jiraiya grows up, they will naturally have to take Jiraiya's opinion seriously. But after careful consideration, Sarutobi Hiruzen gave up the idea and decided to give his full support. There is only one reason. That is, Jiraiya has a strong talent and an extremely strong will of fire, and he places the village in a very high position in his heart. When Jiraiya grows up in the future, he will be able to suppress the Senju clan. If the Senju clan launches a coup or brings instability to the village in the future. He believed that Jiraiya would definitely stand on the side of the village and not on the side of the Senju clan. And now they are suppressing the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan. That's because they are afraid of the strength of the Senju and Uchiha clans. They were afraid that a genius that they could not contend with would appear in either tribe, and then the radicals in the two tribes would launch a coup, which they would not be able to suppress, thus plunging the village into chaos. But Jiraiya is extremely talented, and at such a young age he already has the strength of an elite Jonin. When he grows up in the future, he will definitely be able to intimidate the Senju clan. And according to his speculation, the Senju clan now also values Jiraiya very much. When Jiraiya grows up fully in the future, the Senju clan will definitely assist Jiraiya wholeheartedly. Although the Senju clan is now suppressed by them and its strength has been greatly weakened, it still has a lot of foundation. If the Senju clan can continue to be used by the village, he will naturally not let the Senju clan disappear completely. After all, this will also reduce the strength of the village. The next step is to find a way to weaken the Uchiha clan. The power of those eyes is really frightening. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought to himself. After seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen's attitude, Jiraiya knew that Sarutobi Hiruzen wanted to control the Senju clan through him. Otherwise, I would definitely not have this attitude. In fact, when Sarutobi Hiruzen suppressed the Senju and Uchiha clans, he had a bottom line and never thought of exterminating the clans. As for genocide, that was Danzo's radical idea. In any case, Sarutobi Hiruzen had no objection to him getting close to the Senju clan, which was a good thing for him. Jiraiya, the lightning-style ninjutsu you used to destroy the land of Earth yesterday, according to the information reported by Anbu, should be an S-level lightning style. Our village does not have such a lightning-style ninjutsu. Where did you learn this ninjutsu? Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but ask. Ever since he obtained the 10,000 Thunders Heavenly Prison Induction ninjutsu from the system, he was able to use it openly in front of outsiders yesterday. He had used this jutsu against Senju Orange Water before, but the Senju clan naturally would not tell Sarutobi Hiruzen. However, the Anbu team members who went with him yesterday were all Sarutobi Hiruzen's confidants, so they would naturally report this matter. Teacher, the lightning style I performed yesterday was developed by me not long ago. I didn't learn it from anyone else. And today I developed another S-rank ninjutsu. Jiraiya spoke up. You developed it yourself, and today you developed an S-rank ninjutsu. Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed to be unable to believe his ears. That's right, sensei. I have now created 2 S-level ninjutsu, and I have also created some B-level and A-level ninjutsu. Jiraiya nodded and said. Anyway, he couldn't hide this kind of thing, and it would definitely be exposed during the future war, so he might as well tell it all now. Listening to Jiraiya's relaxed tone, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't know what to say for a moment. It is extremely difficult to develop each new ninjutsu. The control and change of chakra requires countless attempts before success. For example, his self-created shuriken shadow clone technique took him several years to create. As for S-level ninjutsu, it is even more difficult to create it by yourself. As Konoha is the most powerful village, the number of S-level ninjutsu they have collected is extremely limited. But Jiraiya now says lightly that he has created so many ninjutsu, including 2 S-level ninjutsu. This made Sarutobi Hiruzen feel like he was dreaming. This kind of talent is too terrifying. Fortunately, Jiraiya was a civilian ninja, if he was a family ninja. You really haven't seen the world before. It's just a few S-level ninjutsu. Why are you so shocked? You can't even speak. Looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression, Jiraiya sighed softly and thought to himself. As expected of my disciple, you have such talent. When you grow up, my name will surely be remembered forever in the ninja world. Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately became excited. The more talented Jiraiya is, the more benefits he, as a teacher, will naturally receive. Jiraiya, later, list the names and functions of the ninjutsu you created, and show them to me. Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke up. Teacher, I have had this idea for a long time, and I want you to help me see where there is room for improvement. Jiraiya nodded in agreement. Sarutobi Hiruzen did not ask him to hand over the training methods of these ninjutsu, so Jiraiya naturally would not refuse. If Sarutobi Hiruzen wanted him to hand over the training methods of these ninjutsu, and even if he wanted him to agree, he had to offer something of equal value in exchange. As for the free submission, he could only submit some forbidden techniques that only he could learn. Just like the instant prison shadow killing formation he had just learned. Even if he taught the practice method to the village, almost no one would be able to learn it. Unless they are geniuses who practice taijutsu like Might Guy and Might Guy. However, as a ninja, few people will specialize in practicing physical skills. Unless they have no talent in practicing ninjutsu, then they will specialize in practicing physical skills. After all, ninjutsu is more powerful than physical skills and is easier to practice. If you want to practice physical skills, you have to exercise every day, and you have to suffer a lot. Teacher, this is the S-rank ninjutsu I developed today. I have clearly marked the training method. Jiraiya took out the scroll that he had prepared long ago and gave it to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes lit up instantly, and he felt touched in his heart. As expected of his disciple, his will to fire is so strong that he can use S-level ninjutsu as soon as he is told to. Which ninja in the village can have such awareness? Chapter 84 Hotake Shirayuki. Jiraiya handed over the training method of Shun Yukage killing Ure. In the future, if the village leaders want to ask him for other ninjutsu training, they will be too embarrassed to ask. Who would have the nerve to force a ninja who voluntarily handed over an S-level ninjutsu without asking for any conditions or asking for any reward? Even Danzo was too embarrassed to openly force Jiraiya to hand over other ninjutsu training methods. This is a really powerful ninjutsu. I will keep this ninjutsu secret and will never spread it around. In the future, anyone who wants to apply to practice this ninjutsu must obtain your consent. Without your consent, they cannot practice it. Sarutobi Hiruzen said solemnly after carefully watching the training method of Shun Yukage killing Ure. He could see that this ninjutsu was extremely powerful. Teacher, I was able to create this ninjutsu thanks to the inspiration from the Shuriken Shadow Clone technique. Jiraiya flattered him secretly again. Your talent is much better than your teacher's. It took me several years to develop the Shuriken Shadow Clone technique, but it took you much less time to develop the instant prison shadow killing formation, and it is several times more powerful. Sarutobi Hiruzen's tone was full of admiration. Sarutobi Hiruzen was very impressed that Jiraiya was able to create 2S level ninjutsu at such a young age. Even his teacher, Senju Tobirama, could not compare to Jiraiya's research and development capabilities. If you hand in this jutsu, the village will reward you with a large amount of merit. They will definitely not take this jutsu from you for nothing. As for how to determine the merit, I still need to discuss it with others. Don't worry, you will never suffer any loss. Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke next. Because of the S-rank ninjutsu that was handed in, after Senju Tobirama's death, there has never been another one. So how to reward them must be carefully discussed. As for the fact that they looted many forbidden techniques and many S-level ninjutsu from the Senju family, they did not give any rewards to the Senju family. Because those ninjutsu were developed by the second Hokage, what did they have to do with the Senju family? The second Hokage was already dead, so there was no need for any reward. Teacher, I gave the ninjutsu to the village not for any reward, but just to make the village stronger. Jiraiya said solemnly. If what he is doing now were to be publicized, the ninjas in the village will all look at him with admiration, and in the end, he will be able to get more support when he runs for Hokage. Teacher, when I return, I will hand in the ninjutsu training methods I created. Jiraiya spoke up. He handed over the ninjutsu to the village, and later when the ninjas exchanged these ninjutsu for training, they could see that he had given them to the village for free. When those ninjas get the methods of practicing ninjutsu, they will definitely be full of respect and admiration for him immediately. His fame spread throughout the village in an instant. You completed your mission yesterday, so take a good rest today. You can enter Anbu and train your team members tomorrow. Sarutobi Hiruzen said to Jiraiya. Jiraiya then left the office. When you have nothing to do, remember to spend more time talking to your mistress. Jiraiya had just closed the door to his office when Sarutobi Hiruzen's voice rang out again. Sarutobi Hiruzen is determined to let him perform, the lonely AV of married women. Master Jiraiya, Master Danzo wants to see you. As soon as he walked out of the Hokage building, a root member stopped him. Go back and tell Master Danzo that my explanation is the same as last time. I have no interest in joining the root. Jiraiya's face turned cold and he pushed the root member away without giving any face. Jiraiya, disobeying Danzo-sama's orders will not end well. The root member said coldly. Are you threatening me? If you were outside the village, you would have already turned into a corpse after you said this. If you want to die, you can use your life to continue to complete the task assigned to you by your master. Jiraiya said with murderous intent, his eyes becoming extremely cold. Seeing Jiraiya's eyes, the root members couldn't help but shudder, and became afraid and stopped talking. Then he retreated without saying a word. Jiraiya, if you have time today, let's practice swordsmanship again. On the way home, Jiraiya met Hitaki Sakumo. Can Jiraiya nodded. Since that mission, Jiraiya has exchanged sword techniques with Hitaki Tsukumo several times. After each communication, they can see obvious improvement. Jiraiya and Hitaki Tsukumo went to his home. Because Hitaki Tsukumo specializes in swordsmanship, his home is more fully equipped. I haven't seen you in a while. After training for so long in Mount Myoboku, your swordsmanship must have improved significantly. I am really looking forward to sparring with you this time. Hitaki Tsukumo said excitedly. Hitaki Tsukumo's swordsmanship is extremely advanced. Only Jiraiya's swordsmanship could compete with his. It enables him to comprehend something new. As for sparring with other ninjas who use swords, it is completely a one-sided abuse and cannot improve his swordsmanship at all. I'm afraid you won't be able to handle it then. Jiraiya said with a smile. Sister, hurry up and make 2 cups of tea. As soon as I entered the house, Hitaki Tsukumo shouted loudly. Is your sister home? Jiraiya asked. He came to Hitaki Tsukumo's house several times to learn swordsmanship, but did not see Hitaki Tsukumo's sister. My sister just returned from completing a mission for the village the day before yesterday. Hitaki Tsukumo nodded and said. Then a tall girl walked out. She had long hair, bright eyes, skin as white as mutton fat, round and full breasts, and a good-looking appearance. She was about the same age as Jiraiya. Hitaki Tsukumo is quite handsome, so his sister naturally won't be too ugly. Shirayuki, let me introduce you. This is Jiraiya, the apprentice of the Hokage. He has become a Jonin at a young age. He is a very powerful ninja and his swordsmanship is also very powerful. When you are practicing swordsmanship in the future, if there is anything you don't understand, you can ask him for advice. Hitaki Tsukumo introduced Jiraiya to Hitaki Shirayuki. Brother, so he is Jiraiya. I heard about him from my friends. He is a famous pervert in our village. He often goes to the female bathhouse to peek. Today I finally saw him in person. Hitaki Shirayuki said excitedly, and then began to look at Jiraiya with her big eyes. Jiraiya suddenly felt a little embarrassed. Damn it, when will the people in the village forget about the embarrassing things in the past and stop talking about them? This has a huge impact on his image. Chapter 85 I can help you. Shirayuki, don't be rude. Hitaki Tsukumo scolded. Oni-chan, why are you so fierce? I was just joking. How could the Hokage's apprentice go to the bathhouse to peek? Someone must have spread rumors maliciously. Bai Shui spoke coquettishly. My sister has been spoiled by me, don't mind it. Hitaki Tsukumo said with a slight headache. I'm not that stingy. Jiraiya said with a smile. Oni-chan, is there any progress on my application to join Anbu? Bai Shui asked as she turned the phone around. Anbu is the Hokage's direct subordinate unit. If you want to join, you must go through layers of review. It won't be that fast. Just be patient and wait. Hitaki Tsukumo replied. Brother, you are the captain of Anbu squad. Can't you let me join Anbu directly? It must be that you don't want me to join Anbu. Bai Shui said somewhat unhappily. Jiraiya glanced at Hitaki Tsukumo. He didn't expect that he would also become the Anbu squad leader. It seems that Sarutobi Hiruzen has already started training a new generation to take the top position. Hitaki Tsukumo is definitely a rare genius of his generation. Sarutobi Hiruzen will definitely focus on training. After all, only by controlling the powerful new generation can power become more stable. It's a pity that he was later forced to commit suicide by his fellow villagers. Sister, although I am now the captain of the Anbu division, any member who wants to join Anbu must obtain the approval of the Hokage. I do not have any right to allow you to join Anbu directly. Hitaki Tsukumo said helplessly. His sister seemed to think too highly of him. You want to join Anbu? Jiraiya asked. His team was still short of some members. If Shirayuki's ability was up to par, he could propose to Sarutobi Hiruzen to add Shirayuki to his team. I believe that as long as he opens his mouth and Shirayuki meets all the requirements, Sarutobi Hiruzen will definitely agree easily. The Anbu are filled with the village's elite ninjas, and they are directly under the Hokage's command, so of course I want to join. My goal is to become the chief commander of Anbu. Bai Shui nodded vigorously and said. From her tone and attitude, it can be seen that she really wants to join Anbu. I can find a way to get you to join Anbu. Really? Oni-chan. Before Jiraiya could finish his words, Bai Shui grabbed his arm and asked excitedly, her eyes full of anticipation. If your ability satisfies me, I can promise to let you join Anbu. Jiraiya nodded and said. He wanted to build his own power. Tsukumo and his sister Shirayuki were both potential stocks, so naturally he had to win them over in advance. Are you sure you can get my sister to join Anbu? If you can't do it, just make a promise. My sister will be annoyed with you in the future. She is very petty. Hitaki Tsukumo whispered in Jiraiya's ear. I have just joined Anbu and have just become the captain of Anbu division, the same position as you. As long as your sister is strong enough, I can definitely let her join Anbu. Jiraiya said confidently. Brother, he is also the captain of Anbu squad, and you are also the captain of Anbu squad, why is there such a big difference? Bai Shui glanced at Tsukumo and asked, with some disgust in her eyes. I am the apprentice of the Hokage. How can I compare with him? Is this comparable? Shuimao smiled helplessly in his heart. Oni-chan, when are you going to take me to the test? Shirayuki held Jiraiya's arm, shaking it gently and said coquettishly. You can take the test right now. If your strength doesn't meet the standard, you won't be able to join Anbu no matter how much you act like a spoiled child. Anbu won't accept trash. Jiraiya spoke to Shirayuki in a serious and straightforward manner. Although he wanted to win over Tsukumo of the Hitaki clan, it was impossible for him to break the Anbu rules for promoting people. If he allowed Bai Shui to join Anbu when her strength did not meet the requirements, he would be irresponsible for the lives of other team members as well as Bai Shui's life. The Anbu are Konoha's elite force, and the missions they perform are extremely dangerous. If you don't meet the requirements, joining Anbu is simply a way to die. Among all the departments of Konoha, Anbu has the highest casualty rate. It's not that Anbu is not strong enough, but that the tasks Anbu performs are too dangerous. Master Jiraiya, don't worry, I promise I can pass your test. My strength is not much weaker than my brother's. Bai Shui also said it seriously, and the address also changed. Sister, you seem to have become much more shameless after returning from your mission this time. If you hadn't said this, I wouldn't have noticed it. Hitaki Tsukumo couldn't help but complain. How dare you say that? If your ability is similar to mine, you can apply to join Anbu, and I, your brother, can help you. Now Bai Shui's strength can meet Anbu's requirements, but it is not too outstanding. Plus, his subordinate team was already full, so he couldn't recommend Shirayuki to the Hokage. If Bai Shui's ability is outstanding, he can directly recommend her even if his team members are full. Because people with weaker abilities will always have to give way to people with stronger abilities. Use your strongest ninjutsu or swordsmanship to attack me now. If you can satisfy me, you will be able to join Anbu the day after tomorrow at the latest. Jiraiya said to Shirayuki before pulling out the Thunder Flame blade. Take action. Jiraiya waved to Shirayuki and said. Master Jiraiya, you better be careful then. Bai Shui took out her ninja sword. The blade of the ninja sword she used was also extremely white, with some snowflake patterns carved on it. The style was somewhat similar to the white sword, but it was much longer than the white sword. Shirayuki, don't use ordinary ninjutsu, just use your strongest ninjutsu. Hitaki Tsukumo said from the side. Before going to Mount Myoboku for training, Jiraiya was already able to take out a Jonin on his own. Now Jiraiya has been training in Mount Myoboku for many days, and his strength must be much stronger than before. And his sister has only recently reached the strength of elite Chunin. Therefore, if he used ordinary ninjutsu to attack Jiraiya, it would have no effect at all and would only make him appear incompetent. Bai Shui nodded, knowing that she had to give it her all. 10,000 shadows snow slash. Bai Shui let out a delicate cry and quickly circled around Jiraiya, swinging her sword continuously. Snowflake-like streaks of sword light filled the area around Jiraiya. These knife-like snowflakes are just like real snowflakes, suspended in the air, as if a breeze could blow them into pieces. But Jiraiya felt a great crisis from these snowflakes, each of which contained great power. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 86 Jiraiya's Assessment. The swordsmanship that Bai Shui is currently performing should be a combination of swordsmanship and ninjutsu. Soon, Jiraiya's surroundings were densely covered with snowflakes. Then the snowflakes began to spin rapidly, shooting towards Jiraiya. It does have some meaning. Jiraiya commented. He had now opened his eye of insight. Although the snowflakes were moving at an extremely fast speed, they appeared extremely slow in his sight. He could see the trajectory of the snowflakes' movement very clearly. But he discovered that although the snowflakes seemed to be rotating at the same speed, in fact some were fast and some were slow. If you don't observe carefully and think that the speed of these snowflakes is the same, it is very easy to be hurt by them. Because predictive defense can only block those snowflakes that move fast, those slow-moving snowflakes cannot be blocked at all. These snowflakes will cut into your body in an instant. If Jiraiya didn't have an eye of insight that could easily capture the trajectory and speed of snowflakes, it would be difficult to find those snowflakes that were moving very slowly among so many snowflakes. Jiraiya then swung his sword at some snowflakes. It was very easy to chop it into pieces. It's quite powerful. When chopping these snowflakes, Jiraiya could feel a little resistance. After checking the power of these snowflakes, Jiraiya focused his eyes, injected fire attribute chakra into the thunder flame ninja, and slashed forward fiercely. A blazing blade light swept forward, instantly shattering all the snowflakes, easily breaking Bai Shui's ninjutsu. Bai Shui's ninjutsu can barely reach the threshold of A-level ninjutsu. Moreover, Bai Shui was still a little reluctant when performing the technique, and there is still a lot of room for improvement in this ninjutsu. The covered space should be even wider, and there could be more snowflakes. When the snowflakes surrounded him just now, there were still many gaps. If he wanted to dodge, he could easily pass through the layers of snowflakes. The ninjutsu that Jiraiya just performed is called Ryugenzen, which is an A-level fire style. And Jiraiya hasn't used his full strength yet, otherwise, he would have chopped all the snowflakes into pieces and still have enough power left to chop down the white snow. What rapid progress! Hitaki Tsukumo's eyes narrowed. He could see that Jiraiya's swordsmanship had improved greatly. It was so easy to break Bai Shui's attack. Hitaki Tsukumo knew he couldn't do it. He would have to swing his sword at least twice to break all the snowflake sword energy into pieces. Of course, this does not mean that Bai Shui's ninjutsu is weak. It only goes to show that Jiraiya and Hitaki Tsukumo are too strong. If Jiraiya didn't have a system, then Hitaki Tsukumo would definitely be the most dazzling genius in Konoha in recent times. Sri Lanka. Jiraiya easily cracked the ninjutsu, and Shirayuki looked at Jiraiya with admiration. He didn't feel depressed at all because his ninjutsu was cracked. Seeing Snow White like this, she is really a girl with a carefree personality. The power of your jutsu is quite good, but there are many areas that need improvement. With this jutsu, you can barely join the Anbu. Do you have any other powerful jutsu? Jiraiya asked. Master Jiraiya, I naturally have other powerful ninjutsu. Then continue. Jiraiya said calmly. Snow Shadow Explosion Burial. Bai Shui formed seals with her hands and created a shadow clone. Shadow clone turned into a beam of white light and rushed towards Jiraiya. Chakra so condensed should be a way to self-destruct and attack the enemy. Under the investigation of the Eye of Insight, Jiraiya discovered that the chakra flowing in the body of the shadow clone separated from Shirayuki was rapidly rotating and converging to one place. It was just as Jiraiya thought. As soon as the clone approached him, the chakra in his body compressed rapidly, and then suddenly exploded, releasing a dazzling white light. A large amount of sword light suddenly appeared and directly enveloped Jiraiya. However, Jiraiya had already been prepared. A layer of red flames immediately appeared around his body, like magma, blocking all the sword light. Then he swung the thunder flame blade, scattering all the sword lights one by one. The power of this ninjutsu is much greater than the previous ninjutsu. Several knife lights were inserted into 1/3 of the fire. With this jutsu, Shirayuki is already qualified to injure Jonin. If used well, there is a chance that Jonin can be killed. Master Jiraiya, you are amazing. No wonder you are the captain of the Anbu team. Seeing that Jiraiya's trump card didn't hurt him at all, Bai Shui said with great admiration. Sister, your brother is now also the captain of the Anbu team, and you have never praised me once. Hitaki Tsukumo said a little jealously. Master Jiraiya, if possible, please give me some pointers on my swordsmanship in the future. Shirayuki said expectantly, ignoring Hitaki Tsukumo. Hitaki Tsukumo suddenly felt his heart sink. With these two jutsu, you are already qualified to join the Anbu. Next, I will test your reaction speed. Jiraiya said to Shirayuki. With the two ninjutsu she just learned, Shirayuki already possesses the strength of an elite Jonin and is fully qualified to join the Anbu. Bai Shui is the same age as him now, so she has a lot of room for improvement in the future. You should know that most of the members who enter Anbu are ninjas around 30 years old. Few young people are able to join Anbu. As soon as he finished speaking, Jiraiya instantly moved closer to Bai Shui and kicked her out with a fierce whip kick. Jiraiya did not use his own maximum speed, but only used the speed that a normal Jonin could achieve. If he used his maximum speed, Bai Shui would be completely defeated by him. At his current speed, if Bai Shui could react faster, she might be able to fight him off for a while. Bang! Bai Shui reacted quickly, crossing her arms in front of her body to block Jiraiya's whip kick. But Jiraiya's whip kick was extremely powerful. Bai Shui retreated dozens of steps before stopping. Before he could catch his breath, Jiraiya appeared behind him again and punched Shirayuki in the back with a straight punch. Feeling the whistling sound of the wind caused by the fist, Bai Shui leaned forward and narrowly avoided Jiraiya's fist. Then she turned around quickly and stabbed at Jiraiya with the samurai sword in her hand. The movements were smooth and flowing without any drag. It can be said that Bai Shui's physical skills are still very outstanding. Jiraiya didn't dodge, but stretched out his fingers and easily caught the samurai sword that was stabbing at him. Bai Shui wanted to take back the samurai sword, but found that he couldn't pull it out at all. Jiraiya's two fingers, like an iron clamp, tightly clamped her samurai sword. Chapter 87 Reasonable. What a great strength. Bai Shui gave up the idea of pulling back the samurai sword and instead raised her leg and kicked towards Jiraiya. When she raised her leg, the scenery under her skirt was immediately exposed to Jiraiya's sight. Jiraiya just took a quick look, grabbed Bai Shui's ankle with his left hand, and then swung it hard, throwing Bai Shui out. Bang! Snow White fell directly to the ground before she could stand up. Jiraiya had already appeared beside her again and kicked out again, sending her petite body flying once again before falling heavily to the ground. Although Hotake Tsukumo, who was watching the fight, felt sorry for his sister being beaten like this, he did not speak to stop Jiraiya. Because he knew that once he joined Anbu, such things would happen frequently. Do you still want to join Anbu? If you join Anbu in the future, I will be your captain. Trainings of this magnitude will occur from time to time. Seeing Shirayuki lying on the ground, Jiraiya asked calmly. Isn't this little bit of suffering nothing? Bai Shui got up from the ground and looked at Jiraiya and said, then rushed towards Jiraiya again. Bang! But just as he got close to Jiraiya, he was whipped and kicked away again. Bai Shui was easily knocked down by Jiraiya again and again, but she got up again and again after a long time. Jiraiya took the initiative to pull up Bai Shui, who was lying on the ground, smiled and said, you have passed my assessment. You will be able to become a member of Anbu the day after tomorrow at the latest. Thank you, Jiraiya-sama. Bai Shui said breathlessly, very happily. Now Snow White is all dirty and dusty, but she still looks beautiful when she smiles. Sister, go take a shower and change your clothes first. Hotake Tsukumo said with great distress. Snow White nodded happily, ran back to the house, and hummed a song. I hope you don't mind that I was so cruel. Jiraiya said to Hotake Tsukumo. You have to know that in the Hokage world, older brothers dote on their younger sisters or brothers. I'm not that petty. Since she wants to join Anbu, she must suffer some hardships. Let's learn from each other. Hotake Tsukumo said in a calm tone, but he drew out the white fang blade very happily, and then swung the sword directly at Jiraiya. Damn it, are you sure you're not angry? You even resorted to sneak attacks. Jiraiya raised his thunderfire blade to block it, cursing. How can you talk like that? We are sparring, but there is nothing that says we can't use sneak attacks. We are sparring with swords, so it seems reasonable for me to use a sword to sneak attack you. Hotake Tsukumo said with an innocent look on his face, his attacks becoming more and more fierce, as if he wished he could grow 2 more arms to chop Jiraiya. It makes perfect sense. Jiraiya nodded. Brother Shumao, we were sparring with each other in swordsmanship, and it was perfectly reasonable for me to accidentally cut you with my sword. Why are you looking at me like that? About 10 minutes later, Hotake Tsukumo, with knife wounds all over his body, stared straight at Jiraiya, while also looking at the huge toads Hero and Gamabunta behind Jiraiya. Just now when they were competing in swordsmanship, Jiraiya directly summoned Gamabunta and Gamahiro. Because these 2 toads are also good at swordsmanship. My 2 summoning beasts are also very good at using swords. You just said that we are sparring with swords, so it makes sense for me to let the summoning beasts who can use swords join us. By the way, it will also be a good opportunity for you to experience Mount Myoboku's swordsmanship. After Jiraiya had Gamabunta and Gamahiro return to Mount Myoboku, he spoke to Hotake Tsukumo. That makes sense, damn it. Are you trying to show me how to use Mount Myoboku swordsmanship? You're just trying to chop me straight in the face, okay. If you want to kill someone, just say so, don't say it's a sparring match, okay? Hitaki Tsukumo threw the white fang blade directly at Jiraiya and cursed. You can see this. Are my thoughts so obvious? Jiraiya said in surprise. Brother, Master Jiraiya was kind enough to let you learn the swordsmanship of Mount Myoboku. It's obvious that you are too weak to enjoy it. Why are you still blaming Master Jiraiya? Shirayuki, who was watching the fight, took Jiraiya's side. Sister, don't you think I'm injured? You seem to be helping the wrong person, right? Hitaki Tsukumo said weakly. At this moment he felt the pain in his body was gone, but his heart began to hurt. Master Jiraiya, you must be exhausted after competing with my brother for so long. I have made you some tea. Please go inside and rest for a while. Bai Shui simply chose to ignore Hitaki Tsukumo and spoke to Jiraiya with a smile on her face. Okay. Looking at Hitaki Tsukumo's chilling expression, Jiraiya almost laughed out loud. Master Jiraiya, if you are free in the future, please teach me more about swordsmanship. Jiraiya stayed at Hitaki Tsukumo's house for a while, then got up and left. Shirayuki walked him to the door, then bowed and said. As for Hitaki Tsukumo, he was still lying in the yard covered in wounds, his eyes lifeless, staring at the sky with a broken heart. When you join Anbu, I will personally teach you swordsmanship. Jiraiya agreed. Brother, you are so rude. Master Jiraiya left and you didn't even stand up to see him off. After Jiraiya left, Shirayuki complained to Hitaki Tsukumo. Sister, I would like to send him off, but you see I am covered in wounds and it hurts when I move. Can you go get some medical kits and help me treat my wounds first? Hitaki Tsukumo said weakly. Brother, why do you have so many knife wounds on your body? Only then did Shirayuki notice the wounds on Hitaki Tsukumo's body. For a moment, Hitaki Tsukumo felt like crying but had no tears. When Tsunade saw Jiraiya coming back, he stopped practicing and walked into the house. As soon as I walked into the room, I saw several of his limited edition comics placed on the table. It seems that Tsunade has followed his instructions and learned something from these comics. It seems like we should enjoy the combination of ice and fire tonight. Did you learn a lot from these comics? Jiraiya asked Tsunade. I was just curious, so I flipped through it casually without looking at it carefully. Tsunade quickly ran over and put the limited edition comics back into the drawer. Chapter 88 Support Mission. Is it before or after dinner? Jiraiya asked Tsunade. I can't stay here to make dinner for you today. I have to go to the wet bone forest to practice later. Tsunade said shyly. So you mean to start now? Jiraiya simply picked up Tsunade like a princess and walked into the bathroom, not giving Tsunade a chance to speak. Walking into the bathroom, Jiraiya immediately set up the lava barrier. Jiraiya ran the warm water, took off his clothes and jumped in, and pulled Tsunade in with him. Once I return from this training, I will be able to conduct the Jonin examination. More than an hour later, Jiraiya and Tsunade finally came out of the bathroom. Remember to prepare a gift for me in advance. Don't worry, I will definitely prepare a gift for you. Jiraiya said to Tsunade. Tsunade chatted with Jiraiya for a while longer, then returned to the Senju family. Jiraiya's face was filled with relief. Looking back on the feeling before, it was simply amazing. I have to quickly accumulate enough reputation, and after World War II is over, I will become the Hokage. Then I will let Tsunade be the Hokage's secretary. Then I can watch female secretary P***n every day. Jiraiya walked into the training ground and continued his training. Sign in. Jiraiya woke up early in the morning and spoke to the system. Ding dong, sign in successfully, get the Ninja Storm Fist gloves. Explain the function. Jiraiya said to the system. The Storm Fist can increase the user's strength by 30%, and inject wind attribute chakra, and can also generate attraction, which can pull the enemy to the side. The effective range is 3 meters, and the consumption of chakra is large, so use it with caution. Whatever you think comes true, the system is really powerful. Jiraiya's eyes lit up when he heard the name of the reward. Tsunade asked him to prepare a gift yesterday. He still has no clue and did not expect the system to help him solve the problem directly. It can be said that this glove is extremely suitable for Tsunade. Tsunade's strength is already terrifying, and with the added bonus of the gloves, it's hard to imagine how much damage that punch could cause. As for the full set of built-in abilities, absorption is also very useful. After all, it can be used by directly injecting wind attribute chakra, without the need for hand seals, and it is difficult for the enemy to guard against it. If you are accidentally pulled by Tsunade's suction, your head will be smashed by Tsunade in the next second. Although chakra consumption is quite high, if used well, it can almost play a decisive role in the battle. Can greatly enhance Tsunade's strength. Jiraiya took out the gloves from the system backpack. They were made of a kind of metal. I saw that the gloves were dark black, not smooth, and had many spikes. They did not cover my entire hand, but were like rings. After I put them on, I could still hold my things. It's a very humane ninja tool indeed. Feeling the gloves wrapping around his hands, Jiraiya couldn't help but praise them. After trying out the gloves a few times, Jiraiya put them in his closet, planning to give them to Tsunade after he became a Jonin. Jiraiya then took out a blank scroll and a pen. He planned to write up Shirayuki's test and hand it to Sarutobi Hiruzen for approval. Master Jiraiya, Master Hokage asked you to come to the office. As soon as he left the house after writing the scroll, an Anbu member arrived at Jiraiya's door. What a coincidence. I was just about to go find the teacher. Jiraiya said with a nod, and went to the Hokage's office with the Anbu members. When they arrived at the Hokage's office, they saw an Anbu team there, the same team led by Yuhi Junmai, and Orochimaru and Mitokado Homura were also there. There was also a wounded ninja among them. Jiraiya, you just completed a mission the day before yesterday. You should have been allowed to rest for a while, but the situation is too tense now and the village is in urgent need of manpower. Now I have another mission for you. Walking into the office, Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke directly to Jiraiya. I am very happy that Jiraiya can continue to contribute to the village. When he saw the injured ninja, he knew there must be another mission. Some time ago, 2 intelligence forces sneaked into the Rain Country to collect intelligence. They found out important information about the Wind Country in the Rain Country, but the news leaked and they were hunted down by the Wind Country ninjas. The 2 intelligence teams were caught up at the border between the village and the Rain Country and are now surrounded. They spent a lot of effort to tear open a hole in the enemy's encirclement, but only 3 of them escaped, and the rest are still trapped. Your mission this time is to lead the team to rescue the 2 intelligence units immediately. This mission is your first time leading Anbu on a mission. Elder Homura will follow you throughout the entire process. If you encounter something difficult to decide, ask for the elder's advice. Sarutobi Hiruzen said to Jiraiya with a serious face. Yes, teacher. Jiraiya nodded in agreement. Please give us your guidance on the next mission, Elder Homura. Jiraiya then said to Mitokado Homura. Mitokado Homura smiled and nodded. Orochimaru will also let you go this time. This mission is his assessment mission. Orochimaru hopes that you will not let me down. Sarutobi Hiruzen then said. Teacher, I won't let you down. Orochimaru also nodded and said. The situation is extremely urgent now, you must leave immediately. This is the route drawn by Sanyuan. The red dots are where they are trapped. Sarutobi Hiruzen said as he threw a scroll to Jiraiya. Jiraiya took the scroll, opened it and took a look, then ordered, let's go. Jiraiya and his men quickly rushed to where the intelligence unit was trapped. After leaving the village, Jiraiya also changed into Anbu's unique clothing. Chapter 89, Team Annihilation. After leaving Konoha, Jiraiya and his team rushed to where the intelligence team was trapped. In fact, Jiraiya has given up hope of rescuing the intelligence team. Because too much time has passed. It took a long time to get back to Konoha from Sanyuan and send the message, and it would take them a long time to reach the border. With this kind of delay, the chances of the intelligence unit surviving were extremely low. Now Jiraiya hopes that the intelligence force can hold on a little longer and delay the ninjas of the Wind Country for a while longer. Let them not withdraw to the Rain Kingdom too early. Because in this way, he still has a chance to catch up with the group of ninjas from the Wind Country and avenge the intelligence team. If the intelligence team doesn't hold out for long, they may not even get a chance to seek revenge. This is the first time Jiraiya leads Anbu to do something. He also wanted to complete the task beautifully. So I secretly hoped that the intelligence team could last longer. If the intelligence team can't hold out until we arrive, and they're all killed by then my mission will fail. Orochimaru said with a little concern. This mission is his assessment for taking office. He is very concerned about this. If the entire intelligence team was wiped out, then his assessment would definitely be considered a failure. So his mood now is the same as Jiraiya's, hoping that the intelligence team can last longer. If all the members of the intelligence team were killed by the Wind Country ninjas, then we can just find the Wind Country ninjas and kill them all. Don't worry, you will definitely pass the Jonin test with me here. Jiraiya said with a smile. I am also very curious about the puppetry of the Wind Country. Orochimaru said as he licked the kunai in his hand. Seeing Orochimaru's actions, Jiraiya knew that the last time he was poisoned, he still hadn't made Orochimaru change this habit. The ninjas from the Wind Country love to use poison, so don't lick them randomly when you fight them. Jiraiya couldn't help but remind. Don't worry, I brought a lot of antidote pills this time. Orochimaru said without caring. Jiraiya was speechless for a moment. It seemed that Orochimaru had already prepared himself for being poisoned. To be honest, I also want to have a big battle to see how big the gap between us is. Orochimaru then went on to say that he had also entered the Raichi cave to train for a long time, and his strength had improved greatly. Then you have to adjust your mentality. Jiraiya said to Orochimaru. Orochimaru still hasn't given up the idea of catching up with him. But he has the system, and it is unrealistic for Orochimaru to catch up with him. Also, Orochimaru has not yet started his scientific research journey, and has not yet begun to delve into various forbidden techniques, so now he can only be regarded as a civilian genius without any special bloodline boundaries. No matter how talented you are, your strength can only grow steadily. It is simply unrealistic to want to make rapid progress like Jiraiya. If Jiraiya didn't have the binding system, he would have to spend a huge amount of time to learn the unique ninjutsu of Mount Myoboku. The ninjutsu of the three holy places is not easy to practice. He is a little worried about Orochimaru now. After seeing his powerful strength, his mentality will be a little broken. As a companion, I also hope that you will become stronger and stronger. Orochimaru said with a smile. Jiraiya nodded. Orochimaru was in a good mood right now. It looks like the intelligence team is in danger. A few days later, Jiraiya and his companions approached a canyon. According to Sanyuan, the intelligence team was trapped in the canyon ahead. But there was no sound coming from the canyon now, and when Jiraiya opened the Eye of Insight, he did not see any chakra flow in the valley. Instead, he saw many corpses lying on the ground and broken puppets. But Jiraiya did not say what he saw. He did not want to expose the Eye of Insight. It's silent. It looks like we are indeed late. Homura also spoke up. Orochimaru, you must have signed up a lot of summoning snakes while you were training in Raichi Cave. Why don't you release a few summoning snakes now and head to the canyon ahead to investigate and see what the situation is? Mitokado Homura ordered Orochimaru. Jiraiya frowned slightly. Sarutobi Hiruzen only asked Mitokado Homura to come and serve as an advisor, not to be the captain. Now that he was the captain of this team, Mitokado Homura gave direct orders, which made Jiraiya a little unhappy. In the original work, Mitokado Homura and Udatain Kaharu were also obsessed with power. When Tsunade was the Hokage, he often quarreled with the two of them. Orochimaru looked towards Jiraiya. Do as Elder Homura says. Jiraiya nodded. Orochimaru was still very powerful and did not directly respond to Mitokado Homura. Mitokado Homura showed a hint of displeasure on his face. Was Orochimaru looking down on him? But Homura quickly put away that trace of displeasure. Summoning. Orochimaru bit his thumb and slapped the ground, summoning a small snake that looked the same as the rocks. Orochimaru has many summoning beasts, but the most famous one is Manda. Not long after, Orochimaru's summoning beast returned. I didn't find any living ninjas. There were many puppet fragments and bodies of Konoha shinobi deep in the canyon. Mitokado Homura asked first. Since the intelligence team has been destroyed, the ninjas from the Wind Country are likely to be lying in ambush in the canyon. My summoning beast is very reliable. I trust him. If Elder Homura feels that my summoning beast is unreliable, you can now sneak into the canyon and investigate. Orochimaru said coldly, then patted Summoningmon's head. The summoning beast then turned into a puff of white smoke and returned to Raichi Cave. Orochimaru, what's with that attitude? This feeling of being looked down upon by Orochimaru made Mitokado Homura want to get angry. As a high-ranking member of Konoha, he controls most of the power in Konoha. Every ninja is polite to him. Now Orochimaru showed him no respect at all, which made him very unhappy. Chapter 90. Are you a woman? Elder Homura, what's wrong with my attitude? I'm just telling the truth. Is it possible that Elder Homura is like a woman and doesn't like to hear the truth? Orochimaru said with a frown. He now felt that Homura was just like a woman and couldn't bear to hear the truth. Elder Homura, I believe in Orochimaru's summoning beast. Now everyone follow me into the canyon. Before Mitokado Homura could speak, Jiraiya spoke first. He had already looked around the canyon with his eye of insight and found no ambush by any Wind Country ninjas. Yes, Captain, the Anbu member responded. Jiraiya, this canyon is extremely suitable for ambushes. If there are ninjas from the Wind Country ambushing us in the canyon, we will be in great danger if we enter directly. I suggest further investigation. Mitokado Homura spoke up. The companions of the intelligence team have been quickly killed by the Wind Country ninjas. If we enter the canyon now, we may be able to catch up with those Wind Country ninjas and avenge our companions. If we delay any longer, the Wind Country ninjas will be far away. Jiraiya replied, then led the way into the canyon. Orochimaru and the Anbu team followed closely, and Homura followed with a gloomy face. No one in the entire team seemed to take him seriously. Entering the canyon, a breeze blew, and Jiraiya, they smelled the smell of blood. As we walked deeper into the canyon, the smell of blood became even stronger. There were many corpses of Konoha ninjas lying on the ground, surrounded by scarlet blood. There were also a large number of puppet fragments scattered around, and the surrounding rock walls were also covered with scratches. From these traces, we can see how fierce the fight between the intelligence forces and the ninjas from the Wind Country was. Captain, the bodies are still warm and the blood hasn't coagulated yet. They died not long ago. All the scrolls on them were taken away by the enemy. Yuhi Junma bent down to examine a corpse and spoke. Then let's collect the bodies and return to the village to inform Lord Hokage of the situation. They are all heroes who died fighting for the village. We will hold a memorial service for them when we return to the village. Mitokado Homura said. Why do we have to go back to the village now? Jiraiya asked. If you're not going back to the village, then what do you want to do? Mitokado Homura said in an unhappy tone. Elder, you just said that they are all heroes who died fighting for the village. Of course we have to avenge them. The ninjas from the Wind Country should not have escaped far by now. Plus, the war just ended and they are weak now. We should catch up to them and make them pay the price. We can't let them return to the Rain Country so easily. Jiraiya's tone was filled with murderous intent. I disagree. We don't know how many ninjas there are in the Wind Country right now, or whether they have set up an ambush on the road ahead. If we rush in, there will be too many variables. If we get ambushed, it will be dangerous. They are the heroes of the village. The village will definitely avenge them, but not at this time. Homura shook his head and rejected Jiraiya's suggestion. Elder, what you said is indeed reasonable. We do not know how many ninjas there are in the Wind Country, nor do we know whether the enemy has set traps ahead. But I still do not agree to return to the village. I have mastered a secret technique that gives me a strong ability to detect. If the enemy sets an ambush ahead, I guarantee that I can sense it and will never let us get surrounded. Although this secret technique causes great harm to my body, it is worth it no matter how high the price is in order to avenge my companions. Jiraiya said excitedly, his tone very firm. He was looking for a reason to use the Eye of Insight. Hearing Jiraiya's words, the Anbu members stood in awe. As expected of the Hokage's disciple, his awareness is truly admirable. Hokage-sama had asked them to rescue the trapped intelligence troop. Now that all the intelligence troops have been killed by the enemy, their mission has been completed and they can return to the village. And he will not be punished by the Hokage. After all, it was the intelligence forces that didn't hold out until they arrived, not their incompetence. However, Jiraiya did not choose to return to the village. Instead, he planned to avenge his companions and perform a secret technique that would damage his body. It was simply an honor for them to have Jiraiya as their captain. Jiraiya had no idea of the Anbu members' imaginations, and he had no intention of pretending. He just wanted to find a reason to cast his Eye of Insight and earn some more merits. After all, this is his first time to carry out a mission. If he goes back like this, it will definitely have a bad impact. Although the responsibility did not lie with them, it was because the intelligence forces did not hold up long enough for them to realize it. But going back like this would definitely affect his career at Anbu. This is just your inference. If your sensing secret technique cannot detect the other party, it will still put us in danger. I don't agree. Mitokado Homura still refused. You are just an advisor sent by the teacher. I am the captain. I can choose to listen to your advice or not. So I will not listen to your advice now. If you don't want to chase with me, then you can return to the village. The rest of you can follow me. Jiraiya said with a stern expression. His eyes of insight can see through anything hidden, and there is absolutely no way he would be surrounded by the ninjas from the Wind Country. He has given Mitokado Homura enough face. Since the other party is not flattering him, Jiraiya certainly won't indulge him. Yes, Captain, Yuhi Junjin said in unison, and then followed Jiraiya. Mitokado Homura stayed where he was, his face livid and his heart extremely angry. He did not choose to follow, but turned around and returned to the village. Since you want to suffer, you can't blame me. He now also wants Jiraiya to fail in this mission. Because if this happens, Anbu will lose a large number of troops, and then maybe he can arrange for his people to enter Anbu. I even suspect this guy is a woman. She is just like Tsunade and cannot listen to the truth. Orochimaru complained beside Jiraiya. When the other Anbu members saw Homura return, they felt a little disgusted with him. Mitokado Homura is the village's elite jonin and a high-ranking official. He had just been saying that there was danger ahead, but now he turned around and left alone without going with them. This behavior made Anbu extremely unhappy. After entering the realm of the Rain Kingdom, the sky immediately became dark and a drizzle fell. It rains almost all year round in the Rain Country, and sunny weather is rare. The deeper you go into the Rain Country, the heavier the raindrops become. Can your summoning beast still sense their presence? Jiraiya turned to Orochimaru and asked. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 91 Catch Up. Jiraiya and his men were not chasing the ninjas from the Wind Country blindly. Instead, it relies on a small snake wrapped around Orochimaru's right wrist. There are many different types of summoning snakes in Ryachi Cave, some are good at fighting, and some are good at tracking. The small snake wrapped around Orochimaru's hand is good at tracking and can capture the scent left in the air by the Wind Country ninja when they retreat. It's raining so hard right now that the smell in the air has become extremely faint. I can no longer detect any smell in the air. The summoning snake in Orochimaru's hand replied. They should have fled in that direction. I can only detect a faint scent in that direction now. But this smell will soon be dispersed by the rain. I can only help you up to this point. I'm sorry. The summoning snake pointed its tail in a certain direction and said apologetically. The temper of this summoning snake is several times better than that of all the other snakes. Just do your best. Jiraiya nodded and said, then led Anbu to continue chasing. The summoning snake also turned into a wisp of white smoke and returned to Ryachi Cave. Captain, the soil here is very wet, and there are no footprints left. We must be chasing in the wrong direction. After chasing for a while, an Anbu member spoke up. Keep chasing. As long as the scent captured by Summoningmon is correct, the ninjas from the Wind Country must be in this direction. It's a good thing for us that we didn't find any footprints. If the ninjas from the Wind Country really retreated from this place, but they erased all traces, it means that they are in a very bad state and are afraid of being tracked by us. If we still can't see anyone from the Wind Country after chasing them for another 3 hours, we will retreat. Jiraiya began to analyze. Even if they are chasing in the wrong direction now, they can only continue to chase. After all, it is too late to change direction and continue tracking. But we can't chase too deep, because no one can guarantee whether there are ninjas who have come to pick up the group of ninjas from the Wind Country. The captain's analysis makes sense. I think so too. Shihi Junjun said in a cold voice. I am still very confident in my Summoningmon. He will definitely not let us down. The ninjas from the Wind Country are definitely ahead. Orochimaru said very confidently. After more than an hour, Jiraiya and his friends entered a forest. Be prepared for battle, the enemy is ahead. Not long after walking in the woods, they sensed the flow of 8 strands of chakra. With the help of the Eye of Insight, they saw 8 ninjas from the Wind Country moving quickly in the woods. 2 of them were Jonin, and the remaining 6 were Chunin, with 2 having reached the level of elite Chunin. 3 of them had obvious injuries. There is no doubt that this group of Wind Country ninjas must be the same Wind Country ninjas that besieged the intelligence team. According to the intelligence sent by Sanyuan, there were a total of 15 Wind Country ninjas besieging the intelligence team, including 4 Jonin and 8 elite Chunin. Now the number has been reduced by half. It is obvious that this group of Wind Country ninjas has wiped out Konoha's 2 intelligence teams at a huge cost. As for the reason why the bodies of the Wind Country ninjas were not seen in the canyon, they must have been put into the space scroll by these Wind Country ninjas. Captain Kono, let's take a break. ZA and the other 3 can't hold on any longer. An elite Chunin spoke to a Jonin while the Wind Country ninjas were hurrying along quickly. The 3 injured Wind Country ninjas are now somewhat exhausted. Hold on a little longer. We spent a lot of effort to wipe out Konoha's intelligence team, and even let one of them escape. Calculating the time, Konoha's support should have arrived. They are likely to track us down. Wait until we leave this forest before resting. Captain Kono shook his head and said, Captain Kono, it's raining so hard right now. We've already cleared the traces of our journey. Konoha's reinforcements shouldn't be able to track us down. Another Jonin from the Wind Country spoke up. It is obvious that this group from the Wind Country is led by Kono. Fujimura, you don't know how terrifying Konoha is. Their village has many secret techniques. We can't take it lightly. Hold on a little longer. Kono still refused to take a break. The ninjas from the Kingdom of Wind could only continue on their journey. There are 2 Jonin, 2 elite Chunin, and 4 Chunin. 1 elite Chunin and 2 Chunin are injured and in very poor condition. I will immediately entangle the 2 Jonin, and then you will cooperate with each other to kill the remaining Wind Country ninjas as soon as possible. Jiraiya informed his subordinates of the situation of the Wind Country ninja team and formulated a battle plan. Captain, I know you are very strong and can deal with 2 Jonin at the same time, but it will be a bit difficult. Let me tie up 1 Jonin so that you can kill the other Jonin as soon as possible. Eliminating 1 Jonin would almost decide the situation. Shihi Junjun hesitated for a moment and then spoke. Give me 1 of the Jonin. Orochimaru also spoke up. Jiraiya really didn't expect that Orochimaru and Yuhi Junma would take the initiative to take on dangerous tasks for him. Then the other Jonin will be handed over to you. Chunjun, led them to surround and kill Chunin. Remember not to let any enemy escape. Jiraiya thought about it for a moment, and was ready to give the other Jonin to Orochimaru. Because Orochimaru was taking the Jonin exam. If he could really take out the Jonin, it will definitely add a strong touch to his resume, and then, when the time comes, he can recommend Orochimaru to be the captain of the Anbu team, and it will be more secure. If he wants to build up his power in the future, Orochimaru will definitely be a very powerful helper. Yes, Captain. Shiri Chunjun did not continue to force it. After Jiraiya assigned the combat tasks, he turned into a series of afterimages and rushed forward quickly. With such a fast speed, he instantly left Orochimaru and the others behind, and in just a moment he caught up with the group of ninjas from the Wind Country. Now with Jiraiya's physical fitness, the speed of performing body flicker technique is already extremely terrifying. It's bad that the enemy is attacking. As Jiraiya approached, the Jonin Kono of the Wind Country sensed Jiraiya's presence, and with a loud roar, he pulled out a large number of shurikens and threw them at Jiraiya. However, under the gaze of the Eye of Insight, the speed of these shurikens was extremely slow, like a turtle crawling. Jiraiya dodged them easily with his amazing speed, and the lightning blade in his hand lit up with dazzling lightning and stabbed towards his chest. Chapter 92 Easy Solution. Bang! A sound of metal colliding was heard, just as the thunder flame blade was about to pierce the chest of Jonin of the Wind Country. Suddenly a turtle-shaped puppet appeared in front of Jonin of the Wind Country. He narrowly blocked Jiraiya's attack. Lei Yanin chopped at the turtle shell, instantly cutting a hole in it. But then, the turtle's mouth suddenly turned towards Jiraiya and opened its mouth to spray out a large amount of Senbon. Each of the 1,000 strands was flashing with dazzling purple light, and it was obvious that they were all smeared with deadly poison. The use of puppets in conjunction with poison is what the Wind Country is best at. A layer of flames ignited on Jiraiya's body surface, directly melting all the Senbon, turning it into purple-black liquid that dripped onto the ground. Even the turtle-shaped puppet showed signs of melting. The astonishing heat wave continued to spread, and Kono Jonin quickly retreated, pulling the turtle puppet away through the chakra line. At this time, Orochimaru and his men also arrived, using ninjutsu to kill the rest of the Wind Country ninjas. Those who killed us Konoha shinobi and still want to live are simply dreaming. Jiraiya's eyes turned cold, and the lightning released by the thunder flame blade in his hand became stronger and stronger, with a large number of lightning arcs jumping out. Kono looked at Jiraiya, then looked at the tortoise shell puppet that was about to break, and a trace of cold sweat appeared on his forehead. The turtle shell puppet was his strongest defensive puppet, but it was almost destroyed by Jiraiya's sword. This terrifying attack power frightened him. Thunder slash. Jiraiya continued to kill Kono, and with one slash of his sword, a large amount of thunder fell down. Kono shook his hands quickly and used the tortoise shell puppet to block Jiraiya once again. Boom! With a loud bang, the tortoise-shell puppet was completely shattered by Jiraiya. Once the puppet of a ninja who specializes in puppetry is destroyed, the strength of the ninja will be greatly affected, and almost all of their ninjutsu has to rely on the cooperation of the puppet. It can be said that the puppeteer itself is very weak, unless one transforms his body into a puppet-like scorpion, thus eliminating the puppeteer's last weakness. The tortoise-shell puppet was broken by Jiraiya twice, and more cold sweat appeared on Kono's forehead. I didn't expect that another genius would appear in Konoha. Jiraiya is not very old, and the intelligence collected by their village does not contain any information about Jiraiya, so he must have just risen to prominence. Damn, I didn't expect Konoha to be so fast. Kono looked at the rest of the battle groups with a frown on his face, because the ninjas from the Wind Country had completely fallen into a disadvantage. Especially since Fujita was able to fight on equal terms with a young man from Konoha. It seems like we have no choice but to escape. Tianyi came to this conclusion instantly in his mind. They were now caught up by the Konoha ninjas. In their current state, they would definitely not be able to defeat the enemy. If they tried to fight to the end, they would all be killed. There is only one way to go now, and that is to escape. Spread out, and let as many people as possible escape. Kono gave the order, then threw out a scroll, which exploded suddenly, with a large amount of purple smoke gushing out. The purple smoke spread quickly and instantly filled the entire forest. Purple smoke is not only highly toxic, but can also obscure the enemy's vision. For a moment, all the ninjas were covered in poisonous smoke, and their vision was blocked by the poisonous smoke. Knowing that the Wind Country ninjas were good at using poison, Orochimaru and the others had already taken the antidote pills. The village knew that they were up against the Wind Country ninjas who were skilled in using poison. So some very good detoxification pills were issued. Orochimaru and the others did not have any extreme reactions after inhaling the poisonous smoke. Jiraiya was relieved. He had the 10,000 poison seal, so he was not afraid of this poison at all. The poison is quite strong. Jiraiya inhaled some of the toxins and felt his body go slightly numb, but he immediately performed the 10,000 poison seal to expel all the toxins from his body. After Kono threw out the poison scroll, he immediately turned around and ran away without any hesitation. And while running away, he deliberately changed direction several times. But under Jiraiya's insightful eyes, there are no secrets at all, which is very funny. Jiraiya chased after him. Hateful. Kono hadn't gotten a few steps before he realized Jiraiya was catching up with him, and he threw out 2 more scrolls, releasing 2 puppets. One is in the shape of a crocodile and the other is in the shape of an eagle. He knew Jiraiya's speed. Now that Jiraiya had caught up with him, it was no longer realistic for him to escape. He could only fight Jiraiya head-on. As soon as his right hand trembled, the chakra line controlling the crocodile suddenly straightened. The crocodile puppet immediately started to turn, like a sharp cone, and rushed towards Jiraiya. As for the eagle puppet, it flapped its wings, and a large number of wind blades emerged, cooperating with the crocodile puppet. The wind blades directly enveloped Jiraiya, blocking all the space for Jiraiya to dodge. You think too highly of yourself. Do you think I need to dodge attacks of this magnitude? Jiraiya sneered, formed a seal with his right hand, and then slapped it forward. A huge flaming palm appeared and slapped the crocodile puppet. The huge force directly knocked the crocodile puppet over. Jiraiya swung the knife with his other hand, and a bolt of lightning emerged, directly shattering all the wind blades. Kono is just average among the Jonin. Now, ordinary Jonin can no longer put any pressure on Jiraiya. Earth-style heaven drop cover. Jiraiya formed seals with his hands, and the space above Kono immediately distorted, and 3 huge layers of soil suddenly fell down. After a long period of practice, Jiraiya was able to directly create 3 layers of soil. Looking at the 3 huge layers of earth that suddenly appeared in the sky, Kono's face changed drastically, and he controlled the eagle puppet to rush towards the earth layers. Boom! The eagle puppet instantly broke through a layer of soil, but when it hit the second layer of soil, it was directly pressed down by the soil. Then the soil suddenly fell. Kono wanted to dodge, but the soil covered a very wide area. Earth-style yellow spring swamp. Jiraiya slapped the ground again, and a large amount of land around him instantly turned into a swamp. Kono was trapped in it in an instant, and then the soil suddenly fell down. A lot of mud splashed, mixed with some blood. It's so boring. I died before I even started to exert any strength. Jiraiya shook his head. It was very easy for him to kill ordinary Jonin now, without even going all out. Now only elite Jonin and cage-level masters can pose a threat to him. As for the rest of the ninjas, they were nothing more than ants in Jiraiya's eyes. After dealing with Kono, Jiraiya looked at the other battle groups. Chapter 93, Resolving the Battle. Orochimaru and Yuhi Junma were also very powerful. They jointly used wind style to blow away the poisonous fog that obscured their vision, and easily caught up with their opponents. The Wind Country ninjas are in a very bad condition now. After killing Konoha's intelligence team, they didn't stop for a moment and kept fleeing here. The depletion of chakra and physical strength is extremely serious. Now when fighting against Orochimaru and the others, it is impossible for him to fully display his strength, and he is suppressed the entire time. As for the 3 injured ninjas from the Wind Country, their heads and bodies are now separated, and the dead cannot die again. Wood binding technique. Shiri Chun-gen stared at an elite Chunin from the Wind Country and quickly formed seals with his hands. A powerful mental force directly enveloped the elite Chunin from the Wind Country. His eyes became dull for a moment and he lost any ability to think. His body also lost the ability to move. When he came to his senses and regained consciousness, he found that his body had been entangled by a huge tree. And the innocence of the past that he had fought against was gone. Before he could use any means to break free, he saw sunset innocence suddenly emerge from a lush area. Then he felt a chill on his neck and lost consciousness forever. Yuhi Junjin slashed his neck with a shuriken. The core secret technique of the Shiri family is really good. Looking at the illusion performed by Yuhi Junjun, Jiraiya praised him in his heart. Illusions like this are difficult to defend against unless you encounter ninjas from the Uchiha family. If there were no Uchiha clan, the strongest illusion family in Konoha would definitely be the Yuhi clan. After killing the elite Chunin of the Wind Country, Yuhi Junma cooperated with the other 3 Anbu members and quickly killed all the remaining Wind Country ninjas. Most of the elite ninjas from the Wind Country who besieged the Konoha intelligence team should have been replaced by the Konoha intelligence team. As a result, the ninjas who stayed behind were somewhat lame. Jonin's blood does have some flavor. The battle between Orochimaru and Fujita has reached a climax. Orochimaru has just used a shuriken to cut a wound on Fujita's neck and lick the blood with his tongue. Damn little devil. Fujita touched the wound on his face and looked at Orochimaru standing on a giant snake with a gloomy expression. Now Orochimaru also summoned a summoning beast. It was also huge, almost 5 meters long. It was not a 10,000 snake, but a giant black snake. With Orochimaru's current strength, he is naturally unable to contract with 10,000 snakes. Fujita's heart sank to the bottom when he saw his companions being killed one by one, knowing that he had no chance of survival today. After Yuhi Junjun dealt with his opponent, he led the Anbu team to surround Fujita. Leave him to Orochimaru to deal with it alone. Jiraiya stops Yuhi Junjun and the others, and Orochimaru is now capable of killing Fujita alone. And now he also wants to see how strong Orochimaru is. Yes, Captain. Yuhi Junjun and the others dispersed in all directions, completely blocking the direction in which Fujita could escape, and watched the battle between Orochimaru and Fujita. Fujita is not a puppeteer, and there are not many puppeteers in the Wind Country. Only ninjas from major families can practice puppetry. It is simply impossible for civilian ninjas to practice puppetry. Because making puppets is too expensive, ordinary civilian ninjas simply cannot afford it. Orochimaru ordered the summoning beast under his feet to attack and kill it. Fujita felt a chill in his heart when he saw the huge summoning beast, and dodged quickly. Although the summoning snake is huge in size, it is very fast. It crushed a large number of trees and soon caught up with Fujita, and then lashed towards Fujita with its huge tail. Boom! With a loud bang, a large number of trees and rocks were broken into pieces by the snake's tail, but Fujita narrowly escaped. The lurking snake hand. A large number of lion majesties flew out from Orochimaru's sleeves and pounced on Fujita. Wind style. Fujita looked at the large number of colorful lion majesties and felt a chill in his heart. He formed seals with his hands and blew out a gust of wind, forming a large number of wind blades, which cut towards the lion majesties one by one. A large number of lion majesties were cut in half by the wind blades and fell to the ground. Soon the ground was filled with snake corpses. But Orochimaru still performed the shadow multi-snake hand, releasing a large amount of lion majesty, and attacked Fujita. However, these snakes were not very strong and their bodies were not hard, so Fujita easily cut them into several pieces with his wind style. There were more and more snake corpses on the ground, and a lot of smelly blood was flowing out. These snakes are extremely poisonous. Damn you, how dare you treat us snakes like this? Orochimaru's summoning beast suddenly became angry, and its huge body kept whipping Fujita. A large number of trees and rocks were crushed, and soon the place where Orochimaru and Fujita fought became unusually empty. And there were snake remains everywhere. Turn it into nutrients. Orochimaru suddenly jumped off the summoning beast, quickly formed seals with his hands, and slammed his hands on the ground, picking up a summoning magic circle, which instantly spread on the snake stumps and blood. The remaining snake devours. Orochimaru shouted loudly, and the limbs and blood of the snakes on the ground suddenly surged. All the blood-wrapped limbs flew up into the sky and surrounded Fujimura. Since the snake's blood and limbs have covered the surroundings, it can be said that there is blood everywhere. Fujita had no room to dodge. Fujita continuously released wind style to attack the blood. But because the blood was too sticky, his wind style couldn't cut it at all. Soon Fujita was covered in blood and body parts. Ah! Fujita's screams were heard. It is so heart-wrenching that it makes one's scalp tingle and one's heart chilled. Then you see snake heads filled with blood. Everyone started moving, squeezing towards the blood cell madly. They were scrambling to bite Fujita. The 10,000 snakes formation is somewhat similar. The ninjutsu performed by Orochimaru is somewhat similar to a weakened version of the Manjikara Jin. In fact, when Orochimaru kept attacking Fujita with his fragile snake, Jiraiya knew that he had something in mind. It turned out that this was a preparation for launching this ninjutsu. This must be the jutsu that Orochimaru learned while training in the Ryachi cave. It wasn't long before the screaming stopped. It is obvious that Fujita is dead. When the blood cleared, a skeleton appeared in the sight of Jiraiya and the others, without even a trace of flesh and blood on it. Orochimaru then took out a sealing scroll and collected all the snake blood and body parts. Chapter 94, Do you want to listen to stupid opinions? Orochimaru collected the remains and blood of these snakes and could use them directly in the next battle. There is no need to make arrangements in advance. If the enemy notices it, it will be impossible to perform this kind of ninjutsu. If the ninja from the Wind Country who was fighting against Orochimaru had been more careful and used ninjutsu to blow away the snake blood and body parts on the ground, Orochimaru would have no chance of killing him with this ninjutsu. Cut off these people's heads and return to the village immediately. After all the enemies were dealt with, Jiraiya gave the order. The heads of these enemies are a great deal of merit. They killed all the Wind Country ninjas and completed the mission brilliantly. Yuhi Junjun immediately led the 3 Anbu members and quickly cut off all the heads and sealed them in the scroll. And many scrolls were found on these ninjas from the Wind Kingdom. There were many things sealed inside, so Jiraiya and the others didn't check them one by one, and planned to explore again after returning to the village. Jiraiya led them and immediately returned to the Land of Fire. The fight they had just made was very noisy, and there was a high possibility that some ninjas had already noticed and were heading over here, so they absolutely could not stay in this place for long. Captain, should we erase all traces of our withdrawal? Shihi Junjun asked. Unnecessary, Jiraiya said, shaking his head. His chakra has now recovered rapidly, and he has only suffered some physical exhaustion, but it does not affect his strength. He was kind of hoping that some hostile ninja would chase them. Because this way, you can earn more merits. As long as there weren't a large number of Jonin, elite Jonin or cage-level masters dispatched, no matter how many enemies came chasing them, they would not pose any threat to them at all. Currently, the Kingdom of Wind and the Kingdom of Earth have not launched a large-scale attack on the Kingdom of Rain. The number of Jonin is extremely limited. As for elite Jonin and cage-level masters, there are simply not that many in the 5 major ninja villages. Unless an all-out war breaks out, masters of this level cannot be deployed at will. Jiraiya is not worried at all about encountering a master of this level now. Even if an enemy was able to catch up, at most Jonin would be the leader. He could definitely handle it. But when they entered the Land of Fire, no enemy caught up with them. It seemed that there were no enemies pursuing them. Jiraiya was a little disappointed. After entering the Land of Fire, Jiraiya ordered a short rest and they returned directly to the village. Once they entered the heart of the Fire Country, Jiraiya sped up and headed towards the village. Soon Orochimaru was left far behind. Because he was so anxious to return to the village, he wanted to confront Homura. Because that Mitokado Homura guy would definitely go to Sarutobi Hiruzen and accuse him. He should be able to enter the village behind Homura if he returns at full strength now. When the time comes, I'll give him a good scolding in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Anyway, this is already the heartland of the Fire Nation, so there is no possibility of any enemies appearing. In addition, the mission has been completed and he has been separated from his team members, so there will be no problem. Hokage-sama, I don't think Jiraiya is qualified for the position of Anbu squad leader. When Homura returned to the village, he went straight to the Hokage's office, just as Jiraiya had expected, and spoke angrily to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was handling official business, frowned and put down the scroll in his hand and asked, "What happened? Why did you return alone?" Homura told Sarutobi Hiruzen that Jiraiya did not listen to his advice and insisted on going to the Rain Country to track down the Wind Country ninja. Although Jiraiya is talented, he is totally incapable of being a qualified leader. He cannot listen to other people's opinions and only agrees with his own opinions. This is absolutely not acceptable. Homura loudly accused. That depends on what kind of opinion it is. Should I listen to stupid opinions? Just then the door to the Hokage's office opened, and Jiraiya walked in, looking directly at Mitokado Homura and said. He knew that Homura would come to the Hokage's office to accuse him immediately. As the captain of Anbu, if I can't judge whether a suggestion is stupid or useful, then I am unqualified. I have 3 Anbu teams under my command now. Every time we carry out a mission, the team members will give me some suggestions. Do I have to listen to all the opinions as you said? I don't need to distinguish right from wrong. I really don't know where you got the courage to come here and accuse me with such confidence. Look what this is, Jiraiya said as he threw the scroll containing the Wind Country ninja's head at the feet of Mitokado Homura. Suddenly, the heads of the Wind Country ninjas rolled out one after another. If I follow your advice, how can I kill these Wind Country ninjas and avenge the intelligence team? So I won't listen to any stupid advice. The teacher assigned you to be my advisor so that you can help me, not restrict me. Jiraiya then said coldly. Looking at the head on the ground, Mitokado Homura was speechless for a moment. Teacher, the Wind Country ninjas that besieged the intelligence team were quickly killed by the Anbu team led by me. We suffered no casualties. Teacher, when I was chasing the Wind Country ninja, I was not chasing blindly. I pursued him only when I could ensure the safety of the Anbu team I led. Jiraiya said to Sarutobi Hiruzen again. Homura, I am disappointed with your performance. Looking at the head on the ground, Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned and said something to Mitokado Homura. Hokage-sama, Mitokado Homura didn't know what to say for a moment, that was simply because he was used to being in a high position for a long time. He couldn't stand being contradicted, so he lost his mind. Now that I have calmed down, I instantly realized that what I did was indeed wrong. I heard that you have mastered a very self-consuming perception secret technique. Did you use it when chasing the Wind Country ninja? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked with concern. If I can avenge my companions, it's worth it no matter how much I spend. Jiraiya nodded and said. After saying this, Mitokado Homura felt his face burning and he felt a little ashamed. I am very pleased that you have such awareness, teacher. Jiraiya's will of fire is so strong that he can be considered a successor. You completed this mission very well. You are fully capable of taking on the role of Anbu squad leader. Sarutobi Hiruzen praised again. Mitokado Homura quietly left the office on his own, feeling too embarrassed to stay any longer. Chapter 95 A Gift for Tsunade. It slipped away pretty fast. If Mitokado Homura didn't leave, Jiraiya would definitely take the opportunity to scold him a few more times. He was not afraid of offending Mitokado Homura. Most of the rights to Mitokado Homura were given by Sarutobi Hiruzen. If Mitokado Homura wanted to make things difficult for him, Sarutobi Hiruzen would definitely not agree. Of course Mitokado Homura is not stupid enough to be ultimate. He would never put any obstacles in Jiraiya's way. Jiraiya is now a new generation that Sarutobi Hiruzen values very much. If Mitokado Homura dares to trip up Jiraiya, he will anger Sarutobi Hiruzen. His high-ranking position in Konoha would be directly stripped away. He is different from Danzo, because Danzo took on the darkness of Konoha and cultivated many forces in the dark to support himself. If Sarutobi Hiruzen dismisses Danzo from his position, many things will not be able to continue to operate, and it will be difficult to find a replacement in a short time. But Mitokado Homura is different. If he is kicked out of the high position, a replacement can be found at any time. The future of the village still has to be handed over to you young people. As for the advice from us older generations, you can listen to it if you think it makes sense, and ignore it if you think it doesn't make sense. There is nothing wrong with ignoring the opposition when necessary and insisting on doing things according to your own opinions. Of course, we still have to listen to some good suggestions. Sarutobi Hiruzen said to Jiraiya with a smile. Teacher, you are the one who supports the village now. No matter when, I will carefully consider your suggestions to me. Jiraiya replied. You have completed this mission very well. I believe that with your joining Anbu, the efficiency will be much higher than before. I have approved Hitaki Baishui to join Anbu. You have a good eye. Although the little girl is not as talented as her brother, she is just as hardworking as her brother. Elder brother. Sarutobi Hiruzen opening. When he went on the mission again, Jiraiya had already handed the scroll he wrote to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Jiraiya was not surprised that Hitaki Shirayuki was approved to join Anbu since she was quite powerful. Teacher, Orochimaru performed very well in this mission and killed a Jonin on his own. Jiraiya took out another scroll, which contained the details of their battle. If a battle breaks out outside, if you survive, you must write a detailed combat report and submit it to the village. Because the village can use this to determine how to distribute rewards. And to judge the fighting methods of ninjas from various ninja villages, in order to remind young ninjas. It can be said that every combat report is extremely valuable. Okay. After reading the battle report written by Jiraiya, Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was full of smiles. Jiraiya, the fact that this mission was completed so successfully is mainly due to you. I will send your reward first. As for the reward for your last ninjutsu, the village has not yet discussed it, so we have to wait for a while. Sarutobi Hiruzen said as he took out a scroll and gave it to Jiraiya. Teacher, I'm not in a hurry. Jiraiya took the scroll and said, then opened it and took a look, and found that it was an A-level lightning-style ninjutsu, Thunder Binding Pillar. The Thunder Pillar Binding ninjutsu can be said to be a sealing technique, but it can also be considered an attacking ninjutsu. When Pain invaded Konoha, when fighting against the summoning dog, there were Anbu members who could summon pillars that released lightning to attack the enemy. If there was enough chakra, the summoned pillars could directly seal the enemy. Moreover, this ninjutsu can be used in conjunction with the clay that falls from the sky. Sensei, has Tsunade arrived for the Jonin exam? Jiraiya asked Sarutobi Hiruzen. Half a month had passed since he had been on this mission. When he was leaving, Tsunade said that he was going to take the Jonin assessment and asked him to prepare gifts in advance. Tsunade passed the Jonin test yesterday and is now a Jonin of the village. She is very strong. I have decided to induct both her and Orochimaru into the Anbu to serve as captain of the Anbu team. Sarutobi Hiruzen says. I have already completed the formalities for Tsunade to join the cadre. It seems that you will go to see Tsunade later, so please bring this letter of employment to Tsunade for me. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a smile as he pulled out a scroll. Jiraiya took the scroll and nodded before leaving the Hokage's office. Don't forget to take time to visit your master's wife. When he closed the door again, Sarutobi Hiruzen's voice rang in Jiraiya's ears again. Is it really okay for you to keep reminding me like this? Jiraiya complained in his mind. When I walked out of the Hokage office building, I saw Mitokado Homura standing at the door. Seeing Jiraiya walk out, Homura wanted to say something to Jiraiya, but he didn't say it. Jiraiya walked right past him without even looking at him. After returning home, Jiraiya took out the gloves he got from the system and planned to give them to Tsunade. Jiraiya took out 2 more blank scrolls and wrote down 2 A-rank ninjutsu. These 2 A-level ninjutsu are both medical ninjutsu, which are very suitable for Tsunade to practice. One is similar to chakra scalpel, but can inject neurotoxin into the enemy's body. The other is a ninjutsu that can help heal oneself or one's companions. It is similar to the healing jutsu, but its effect is much stronger than the healing jutsu. Jiraiya planned to give the gloves to Tsunade. After writing down the methods of training 2 medical ninjutsu, Jiraiya walked towards the Senju clan with gloves on. Jiraiya, please come in, sir. As soon as they arrived at the door of the Senju family, the civilian servants opened the door and came all the way to greet Jiraiya. It can be said that the Senju clan now respects Jiraiya very much. After entering the Senju family, Jiraiya went to where Tsunade lived. Nawaki, don't practice so hard in the future, and never do this kind of dangerous practice again. As soon as I walked into the house, I heard Tsunade scolding Senju Nawaki. Senju Nawaki's right arm was injured for some reason, and Tsunade is treating him. Sister, this is just a minor injury. It's nothing. I want to become stronger as soon as possible and become a ninja like brother Jiraiya. Senju Naoki answers. Now, with Sarutobi Hiruzen's deliberate promotion of Jiraiya's reputation, almost all civilians and ninjas in Konoha know that Jiraiya is a genius. During the Jonin assessment, he single-handedly destroyed a bounty house set up by the Earth Kingdom in the Fire Kingdom. This is an extremely amazing record. Now many young ninjas have regarded Jiraiya as an idol. Especially some students who are currently attending ninja schools, they admire Jiraiya even more. This was specially arranged by Sarutobi Hiruzen. He was helping Jiraiya improve his reputation and paving the way for Jiraiya to become his successor. Chapter 96 Uzumaki Mito. Naoki, come on, I believe you can do it. Jiraiya walked into the room and said to Senju Naoki with a smile. Brother Jiraiya, you are here. I was very happy to see Jiraiya Senju Naoki. Because every time Jiraiya came, he would guide Senju Naoki in his practice, and he could almost be considered half a teacher of Senju Naoki. Every time after receiving instruction from Jiraiya, Senju Naoki could feel that his strength had improved significantly. He now particularly adores Jiraiya. How did you get injured? Jiraiya asked, patting Senju Naoki on the head. I was accidentally hit by a shuriken while practicing my reaction ability. Senju Naoki said, scratching his head. Brother, even if you want to become stronger, it takes time. You put so many shurikens into the mechanism at once. It's too dangerous. Don't be so reckless in the future. Tsunade reminded seriously. She loved Senju Naoki very much and didn't want to see her brother get hurt. Sister, if you want to become stronger, you have to challenge your limits. If I release too few shurikens, how can I realize my potential? I will be careful in the future and try not to get hurt. Senju Naoki answers. As expected of my brother-in-law, he actually has such courage. Jiraiya said appreciatively. Brother Jiraiya, can you give me some more guidance on my training later? Senju Naoki also did not inherit the wood style of Senju Hashirama, but he was very talented in mastering both fire and earth chakra. Jiraiya is also good at these two types of ninjutsu, so when he was instructing Senju Naoki in his training, he was very adept at it. After all, Jiraiya had learned a lot about fire-style ninjutsu and earth-style ninjutsu from signing in with the system. He has a very deep understanding of both fire-style ninjutsu and earth-style ninjutsu. Of course, but you have to wait until I finish chatting with your sister. You go to the training ground and wait for me. Jiraiya said as he patted Senju Naoki's head. Brother Jiraiya, women will only affect our training speed, so let's give up women. Senju Naoki spoke up. What did you say, little brat? Tsunade instantly roared in anger. I didn't say anything just now. I'm going to practice first. Senju Naoki shuddered and ran out instantly. Damn it, I was not careful and almost got myself a hospital stay package. After Senju Naoki left, Tsunade consciously closed the door and drew down the curtains. She knew what kind of person Jiraiya was. And since they haven't seen each other for so long, she was looking forward to Jiraiya doing something to her. You really understand me. Seeing Tsunade's actions, Jiraiya had no choice but to pull Tsunade into his arms. You've been out for so long this time. What mission did you go on? Tsunade asked, blushing slightly. We went to the Rain Country and eliminated a group of ninjas from the Wind Country. Jiraiya replied. I heard from the teacher that you have become a Jonin now. This is the gift I prepared for you. Jiraiya said as he took out a space scroll. He had already placed the gloves inside this space scroll. Tsunade took the scroll and injected chakra into it, and the gloves were summoned out. This is a gift I carefully prepared for you. It can enhance your strength and, at a certain distance, release wind style to grab the enemy. Jiraiya introduced the function of the gloves to Tsunade. The gloves obtained by signing in through the system cannot release gravity, but rely on wind style to grab the enemy. After hearing Jiraiya's introduction, Tsunade's eyes lit up. These gloves were indeed very suitable for her. Tsunade picked up the gloves and put them on. What a magical material. Tsunade said in surprise after putting the gloves on her hands and finding that they shrunk by themselves and fit her hands perfectly. Where did you get such precious boxing gloves? Did it cost you a lot? If that's the case, I don't want it. Although Tsunade liked this pair of gloves very much, he also knew that this kind of gloves must be extremely precious, and he was afraid that Jiraiya had spent a lot of money to get them. Just use them without worry. I got this pair of gloves easily without spending any money. But when you use them, don't say they are gifts from me. Just say they are left by your Senju clan. Jiraiya asked Tsunade. Tsunade is much more considerate than the women in his original world. And I still feel sorry for him. If it was a woman from the world he traveled to, damn it, if the gift she gave was not so good, she would skin you alive and would not feel any pain. Really, there was no cost? Tsunade asked in disbelief. Really not, and this pair of gloves is so suitable for you, even if I have to pay a price, I am happy to do it, just use it with confidence. I also have 2A level ninjutsu here, which are also suitable for you to practice. Jiraiya took out the 2 ninjutsu scrolls and gave them to Tsunade. Tsunade smiled sweetly. I have another good news to tell you. The teacher is also going to assign you to Anbu now, and will also let you be a team leader. The team you led is one of the teams I led. We can be together when we carry out missions in the future. Jiraiya then took out Tsunade's letter of appointment. Tsunade was also very happy to be able to join Anbu and become a team captain. Jiraiya simply picked up Tsunade and they kissed passionately. After finishing, Jiraiya went to the training ground and began to instruct Senju Nawaki in his training. Great Elder, now that Tsunade can become the captain of the Anbu team, Jiraiya should have provided a lot of help. He has now become the captain of the Anbu team. His growth rate is much faster than we thought. Should we show some more sincerity? In a room of the Senju family, Senju Orange Water said to the Great Elder. The family's secret techniques can be open to him, and I can also select some of the sealing techniques I master for him. Just at this moment, Uzumaki Mito walked in. Uzumaki Mito is the wife of Senju Hashirama and also the Nine Tails Jinchuriki of Konoha village. The current Nine Tails is sealed in her body. Grandma, why are you here? Senju Orange Water immediately stood up to greet Uzumaki Mito when he saw him. I can't hold on for much longer in this body. If I don't get out and move around, I'll be out of time. Tomorrow you will report to the village and ask them to find a new container. I can't hold on for much longer. Uzumaki Mito is now old and is no longer able to seal Nine Tails. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 97 A Promise. Uzumaki Mito is now old and it is very difficult for him to maintain the seal in his body. You should know that Nine Tails has the most powerful tailed beast. It is extremely difficult to seal him. Mother-in-law, it's all my fault for being useless and making you suffer. Senju Orange Water said with a look of self-blame. Because Uzumaki Mito is now sealing Nine Tails, it is a huge burden on her body and she has to endure great pain every day. Because Nine Tails keeps attacking the seal, trying to regain freedom. If it weren't for Uzumaki Mito's concern for the safety of the Senju clan, he would have already asked the village to find a new container and ended his own life. Now the village is trying hard to suppress the Senju clan. Uzumaki Mito has persisted until now for the sake of the Senju clan. Because of her, Nine Tails Jinchuriki, the village's suppression of the Senju clan will be kept within a limit. But once she was gone, the village found a new container for Nine Tails. Then the only thing about the Senju clan that could make the village afraid would disappear. The situation of the Senju clan will only become more and more difficult. Damn old woman, let me out quickly. The Nine Tails in Uzumaki Mito's body began to become restless again and began to attack the seal. A look of pain appeared on Uzumaki Mito's old face. When she was young, she was able to suppress Nine Tails with the help of the powerful sealing technique of the Uzumaki tribe. But as she aged and her body failed, maintaining the seal became difficult. That little guy Jiraiya has great potential. If we can build a good relationship with him, the Senju clan will definitely be able to gain a foothold in the future. I will give him some powerful sealing techniques, and with those ninjutsu developed by Tobirama, with these two alone, when he becomes a high-ranking official in the village, he will definitely take care of our Senju clan. Uzumaki Mito said, ignoring Nine Tails' yelling. She had long been accustomed to this situation. Granny, this is actually a matter for our Senju clan. You don't need to use the Uzumaki clan's sealing technique. Senju Orange Water hesitated for a moment and spoke. Their clan now owes Uzumaki Mito a lot. He really felt guilty about asking Uzumaki Mito to use their clan's secret techniques again. The village leaders were also extremely jealous of the sealing technique mastered by Uzumaki Mito. He tried to learn from Uzumaki Mito many times, but was rejected every time. The village didn't dare to push too hard because Uzumaki Mito had the Nine Tails sealed inside him. If they really go too far and Uzumaki Mito releases Nine Tails, it will be a disaster for the entire village. Now Uzumaki Mito is willing to hand over the sealing technique to Jiraiya. The top leaders of the Senju clan had never expected this. In terms of sealing techniques alone, the sealing techniques mastered by the Uzumaki clan are definitely the strongest in the ninja world. The reason why the Whirlpool country was destroyed was because the major countries were afraid of fear of the sealing technique they control. That's why the Whirlpool country was destroyed. Now that the Whirlpool country has been destroyed, many sealing techniques have been lost. I can't let the sealing techniques in my hands be lost as well. I have to find a successor. Jiraiya is a good choice. Uzumaki Mito said with a smile. I once promised the village that I would not pass the sealing technique to the Senju. I cannot break my promise, so don't blame me. Uzumaki Mito then continued. Mother-in-law, how dare we blame you? I know you are protecting us. If you pass on the sealing technique to us, along with the various forbidden techniques left by my grandfather, the village will only become more suspicious of us. Senju Orange Water said quickly. It's not that Uzumaki Mito doesn't want to pass on the sealing technique to the Senju clan, but that he can't. Once the sealing technique she mastered is passed down, and she is stripped of the 9 tails and dies, the village will only make things more difficult for the Senju clan. The Senju clan also understands this. The Uzumaki clan's sealing technique is actually a hot potato. Even if Uzumaki Mito wanted to teach them, they, the Senju clan, would not dare to learn it. Because the destroyed Whirlpool country is the best proof. But Jiraiya is different. Jiraiya is the apprentice of the Hokage. If Uzumaki Mito passed the sealing technique to Jiraiya, the village leaders would be very happy to see it. Go and bring that little Jiraiya over here. Uzumaki Mito sat down and spoke. Senju Orange Water nodded and left the room. Mother-in-law Mito wants to see you. Senju Orange Water went straight to the training ground and spoke to Jiraiya, who was instructing Senju Nawaki in his training. Hearing what Senju Orange Water said, Jiraiya frowned slightly. Mother-in-law Mito naturally knew who she was talking about. It must be Uzumaki Mito, the wife of the ninja god Senju Hashirama. Now that the Senju clan has not been completely destroyed by the village, it can be said that Uzumaki Mito has made a great contribution. Jiraiya is also very confused now, wondering why Uzumaki Mito suddenly wants to see him. Practice as I say, and you will be able to master this ninjutsu in no time. Jiraiya said something to Senju Nawaki again, and then followed Senju Orange Water to meet Uzumaki Mito. I wonder what Mito Senpai wants from me? Jiraiya asked. Of course it's a good thing. Granny Mito thinks highly of you. Now Senju Orange Water is a little envious of Jiraiya, who can practice the Uzumaki clan's sealing technique. In this way, Jiraiya's strength will only become stronger. I'm afraid that in a while, Jiraiya will be able to possess the strength of an elite Jonin. It is even possible that one can have Kage-level strength before the age of 20. In this way, their Senju clan will definitely be able to get out of the predicament soon. Thinking of this, Senju Orange Water couldn't help but quicken its pace. As the patriarch of the Senju clan, he was very happy and excited to see that there was hope for his family to get out of its predicament. Once the family gets out of trouble, he won't have to run around chatting with other people's wives all day and keep the family spark going. After all, this is a very hard job. He was already fed up with it. Mother-in-law, Jiraiya is here. After entering the house, Senju Orange Water said in a low voice. You all should get out now. When I saw Jiraiya Uzumaki Mito, he said to Senju Orange Water and the others. The Senju clan members left the house one after another, leaving only Jiraiya and Uzumaki Mito. Hello, Senior Mito. I wonder why you called me here. Jiraiya asked respectfully. At the same time, he could also sense a malicious intent emanating from Uzumaki Mito. He knew in his heart that this was emitted by the 9 tails in Uzumaki Mito's body. It seems that Uzumaki Mito's health is a bit bad. He can no longer suppress 9 tails. Feeling the full malice, Jiraiya knew that Uzumaki Mito was in a very bad condition. I came to you only to ask for a promise from you. That is, when you become a high-ranking official in the village, you will no longer target the Senju clan. If you encounter Uzumaki clan members scattered around in the future, you will try your best to bring them back to Konoha and protect them. Uzumaki Mito directly stated the purpose. Chapter 98, The Secret Techniques of the Uzumaki Clan. After the destruction of the Whirlpool country, the Uzumaki clan fled to various parts of the world and hid under different names. Once your identity is exposed, you will also be hunted down. Because the major countries still want to obtain the powerful sealing technique of the Uzumaki clan. Uzumaki Mito naturally couldn't bear to see his former family become like this. He once proposed to the village to take in some members of the Uzumaki clan. But all of them were rejected by the village leaders. Because if they accept a large number of Uzumaki clan members, it will cause hostility from other villages. Sarutobi Hiruzen is a person who is very reluctant to start a war and cherishes peace very much. It was naturally impossible to agree to something that would bring enemies upon the village. In the original Hokage, the Land of Lightning sent ninjas to infiltrate Konoha, intending to abduct Hyuga Hinata and steal the Byakugan. He was discovered by Hyuga Hazashi, who killed the ninja sent by the Land of Lightning in order to rescue Hinata. However, the Land of Lightning was furious and demanded that Konoha hand over the murderer and give their Land of Lightning an explanation. It was obvious that the Land of Lightning was wrong in this matter, but Sarutobi Hiruzen chose to give in and let Hyuga Hazashi go to the Land of Lightning to die in order to appease the anger of the Land of Lightning. From this we can see how much Sarutobi Hiruzen cherishes the hard-earned peace. But it would be a bit too depressing to cherish such peace. Mito Senpai, I am only a Jonin now, it is a little too early for you to ask me to make these promises. Jiraiya said with a wry smile. He does want to become Hokage, but how long it will take and whether he can successfully become Hokage is impossible to predict. You were chosen by Mount Myoboku to enter the training camp, so there is nothing wrong with your character. I asked you to make a promise, but I don't force you to fulfill it. I hope you can do it when you are capable in the future. It also gives me some hope. Uzumaki Mito spoke slowly. As long as you agree, I will teach you all the sealing techniques I know, as well as the forbidden technique developed by the second Hokage. You can also look it up. Uzumaki Mito then said with a serious expression. Senior Mito, if I am able to take charge of power in the future, I will give the Uzumaki clan a place to live. The Senju clan has made great contributions to the village, so I will naturally not make things difficult for them. Jiraiya also answered seriously. These two things are actually just small things. But you can get exceptionally generous rewards. Jiraiya naturally couldn't refuse. He wants to dominate the ninja world, and the Uzumaki clan's sealing technique plays a vital role. The Uzumaki clan scattered across the country are also targets he wants to win over. He wanted to build an extremely powerful organization, so naturally he needed to attract talents from all walks of life. I believe you can definitely do it. Monkey still thinks highly of you and has already begun to help you build momentum. He is already training you to be the next Hokage. I hope that after you become Hokage, you will not inherit his will to manage the village. This will only make the village weaker and weaker. Although I don't understand politics, I can still see this clearly. If you want to stabilize the village's political power, you can't just suppress the powerful tribes. Uzumaki Mito spoke slowly. When people get old, they like to talk too much. These are the sealing techniques of my Uzumaki clan. You can take them. As for whether to hand them over to the village or teach them to others, you can do whatever you want. Uzumaki Mito slapped the table, and many scrolls were summoned. Jiraiya didn't hesitate to take these scroll techniques, there were 8 in total. These scrolls were extremely well made, and one of them even exuded an ominous aura that made Jiraiya extremely uncomfortable. Tsunade is a good girl, remember to treat her well and don't let her down. Uzumaki Mito reminded again. Mito Senpai, I know how to love a woman. Don't worry, I will never let Tsunade regret choosing me. Jiraiya promised, and put away the summoning scrolls, planning to check them again when he got home. Jiraiya saw that Uzumaki Mito had no intention of continuing the conversation, so he left. Mother-in-law Mito, what did she say to you? Tsunade asked Jiraiya curiously. Mito Senpai called me over, mainly to remind me to treat you well and not let me bully you, and also said that you have a big butt and you will definitely give me a son. Jiraiya said to Tsunade with a smirk. Nonsense. Tsunade's face immediately turned red with embarrassment. This is what Brother Orange Water asked me to give you. It is an ninjutsu developed by my grandfather. Tsunade said to Jiraiya as he pulled out a scroll. Jiraiya put it away. It can be said that he had gained a lot today. Putting aside other things, the scroll that Uzumaki Mito gave him alone was of great value. Although he has not yet checked what kind of sealing technique is contained in the scroll, he is sure that it will not be too bad. After staying at the Senju family for a while, Jiraiya returned home. He first took out the scroll Tsunade had given him and discovered that it contained a genjutsu created by the second Hokage, the darkness technique. It can deprive the enemy of its perception of light and plunge the enemy into darkness. In the original Hokage, when Orochimaru invaded Konoha, he only used impure world reincarnation to reincarnate Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama. Senju Tobirama once used this illusion to deprive Sarutobi Hiruzen of his perception of light. Therefore, it is a very powerful illusion. Once you lose the perception of light and have no powerful means of sensing, you will become a living target and be attacked by the enemy at will. However, this kind of illusion is extremely difficult to practice successfully. If Jiraiya wants to master it, he will definitely have to practice hard for a while. After all, Jiraiya has never practiced illusion techniques and needs to start from scratch. Jiraiya then opened the seal that Uzumaki Mito had given him. He first opened the scroll that exuded an ominous aura. It turned out to be this sealing technique. Seeing the records on the scroll, Jiraiya's face showed a solemn expression. Clearly recorded on it is the Shiki sealing techniques. The Shikigami sealing is definitely the ultimate sealing technique in the Hokage world. Able to summon Shinigami to devour the opponent's soul. But the price is quite high, and you also need to sacrifice your soul. However, although the price is huge, the power of the sealing technique is extremely great. Sarutobi Hiruzen used this sealing technique to seal the souls of Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama, and also sealed Orochimaru's hands. Namikaze Minato used this sealing technique to split Nine Tails into two. Judging from these two battle records, the power of this sealing technique is beyond doubt. So he was a little surprised when he saw this sealing technique. Chapter 99 New Sign and Method. Although the Shiki seal is extremely powerful, the cost is also high. To sacrifice one's soul to the Shinigami. This sealing technique is actually a ninjutsu that results in mutual destruction. I don't know if I can get a solution to the drawbacks of this ninjutsu from the system in the future. Jiraiya thought in his mind. It would be great if the system could solve the only drawback of the Shikigami seal and allow this ninjutsu to be used as a regular ninjutsu. Jiraiya then put away this ninjutsu and opened the other scrolls one by one. Without any exceptions, all are sealing techniques. The Diamond Seal, 8-Sign Seal, 4-Symbol Seal, Celestial Seal, etc. are all extremely powerful sealing techniques. Almost all of these sealing techniques have the ability to suppress the tailed beasts. Especially the Diamond Seal. In the original work, Uzumaki Shinjuna, who had just given birth to Naruto, relied on this ninjutsu to suppress Nine Tails. This gave Namikaze Minato the opportunity to use the Shiki seal. You have to know that at that time Uzumaki Kuna had just given birth and was extremely weak, so she could suppress the tailed beast by performing this ninjutsu. It is enough to prove the power of the Vajra seal. However, this kind of sealing technique can only be practiced by the Uzumaki clan. Because in order to perform the Diamond Seal, the chakra in the body must be condensed into chains, and a large amount of chakra is consumed in this process. Only the Uzumaki clan can sustain the chakra consumption of this sealing technique. If it were any other ninja, even if they drained all their chakra, it would be difficult to condense a diamond chain. After all, the Uzumaki clan has abundant chakra in their bodies. But Jiraiya now has a sage body, and the chakra stored in his body is not inferior to that of the Uzumaki clan. Therefore, this sealing technique is not difficult for him. Jiraiya took another look at the other sealing techniques and put them all away. He planned to practice the Vajra seal and Dark Technique first. Dark Technique can be said to be an auxiliary ninjutsu. It is a good ninjutsu whether it is used alone or in a team battle. When Senju Tobirama developed this jutsu, he was definitely targeting the Uchiha clan. After all, this jutsu can deprive the eyes of the perception of light, and the Uchiha clan's strength is almost above the Sharingan. Once the Sharingan is disturbed, one's strength will be greatly affected. Jiraiya traveled to the Hokage world and had never dealt with the Uchiha clan before. Because the Uchiha people are very aloof and don't like making friends with people from other tribes. Therefore, Jiraiya had no contact with the Uchiha clan. Only occasionally when he passed by the Konoha guard, he would see a few Uchiha clan members. Jiraiya did not have a bad impression of the Uchiha clan. At least most of the Uchiha were loyal to the village and did not have any rebellious intentions. There are only a few radicals in the tribe who want to launch a coup, believing that they have made great contributions to the village, but the village has not given them the benefits they deserve. Jiraiya planned to practice the Vajra seal first. He took the sealing scroll and began to practice the Vajra seal. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, more than half a month has passed. Vajra seal. Jiraiya in the yard shouted loudly, quickly formed seals with his hands, and the chakra in his body flowed rapidly and overflowed from the body, condensing into golden chains. A total of 5 chains were condensed, and Jiraiya controlled these chains to extend forward. When they extended to 8 meters, they reached their limit and could no longer extend. Furthermore, the chakra in Jiraiya's body was being consumed rapidly during this process, and even if he continued to extract chakra from cells, it would be difficult to keep up with the rate of chakra consumption. No wonder only the Uzumaki clan can master this jutsu. It consumes too much chakra. Jiraiya withdrew his ninjutsu with a frown. Just in that instant, 1/10 of his chakra was directly consumed. In the past, when he performed S-level ninjutsu, he had never consumed so much chakra at once. It seems that I can only use this sealing technique as I wish after I have fully developed the sage body. Jiraiya thought secretly. The sage body he is currently bound to has not yet been fully developed. Jiraiya has not received any new tasks in the past half-month, so he has basically been practicing the Vajra seal during this period. It was not until today that I succeeded in my practice. Ding dong, it is detected that the master is almost at the level of an elite Jonin. The daily and 7-day signings will be cancelled and changed to a half-month signing. At this moment, the system's voice suddenly sounded in Jiraiya's mind. Why did you change it to this? Jiraiya suddenly felt unhappy. Damn it, in this way, he can only get rewards twice a month. Master, please don't be angry yet. You are already very strong now. The rewards you get from signing every day and every 7 days can no longer quickly improve your strength. But after changing to signing every half-month, every reward you get will be extremely precious and can quickly help you increase your strength. The master can sign in now. After completing this sign-in, you will have to wait 15 days before you can sign in again. The system voice sounded again. Jiraiya could barely accept the system's explanation. It is true that the rewards from the daily sign-in in the system have little effect on him now, and can no longer significantly improve his strength like it did at the beginning. Even what he got from the 7-day reward was of very little help to him. Because they are all ordinary basic ninjutsu. No matter how much basic ninjutsu like this he learns, it is impossible to quickly improve his strength. Sign in. Jiraiya said to the system, now I am a little curious, what good things can I get by signing in this time? Ding dong, sign in completed, get the reward of Sage Body and Ninja Soul Bottle. May I ask if the master would like to extract it immediately? The system voice then sounded. Extract now. Jiraiya said without hesitation. This time the reward did not disappoint him. The complete Sage Body is very powerful. With the complete version of Sage Body, he can clap his hands together and release ninjutsu at will, just like Senju Hashirama. Jiraiya felt his whole body become warm, and a strange power immediately filled his body, strengthening every part of his body. And the chakra in his body is growing rapidly. When this feeling disappeared, the chakra in Jiraiya's body was 100 times more abundant than before. Jiraiya briefly tried to extract chakra from the cells, and immediately a large amount of chakra flowed into the body. Chapter 100 Problem Solving. Feeling such abundant chakra, Jiraiya smiled. In this way, his chakra can almost be comparable to that of the tailed beasts, turning into a humanoid ninjutsu machine cannon. Wherever he goes, he can use ninjutsu. There is no need to worry about the moment when his chakra will be exhausted. Not to mention the abundant chakra contained in his body now, the terrifying speed of chakra recovery alone is enough to support him and allow him to perform any ninjutsu at will. Vajra Seal. Jiraiya performed the sealing technique once again, and a large amount of chakra flowed out of his body, condensing into 28 golden chains at once, extending forward until it extended about 12 meters before stopping. During this process, Jiraiya could not feel the consumption of chakra at all. It feels completely different from before. Condensing 28 golden chains and extending the chains to 12 meters is already the limit of the Vajra Seal. Otherwise, with the current chakra in Jiraiya's body, he can naturally condense more chains and make them extend longer. I don't have to worry about my chakra being used up. This feeling is so refreshing. Jiraiya controlled the golden chain to whip and twist continuously, and the chakra in his body did not decrease at all. This feeling was so good. Then Jiraiya took out the thunder flame blade and slashed it across his arm. There was a sharp pain, and a wound appeared on the arm. Before the blood could flow out, the flesh and blood on the wound were seen moving constantly, and it healed in just a moment. This self-healing ability is simply too strong to mention. Jiraiya is very satisfied with his body's current self-healing ability. No wonder in the original Hokage story, everyone wanted to transplant Hashirama cells. Because this terrifying self-healing ability is so terrifying, naturally everyone wants to possess it. In addition, the body's sensory abilities have been greatly enhanced, and Jiraiya can also sense the natural energy in the air. In the past, it was extremely difficult for him to feel the natural energy floating in the ninja world. But now it feels unusually easy. Now, as long as he can get the method to practice Sage Mode, Jiraiya is confident that he can quickly learn Sage Mode. And like Senju Hashirama, he can instantly enter Sage Mode by clasping his hands together. There is no need to slowly absorb natural energy, which takes a lot of time to enter Sage Mode. In the original work, Jiraiya's Sage Mode is the least mature one. First of all, if he wants to enter Sage Mode, he must get the help of the two fairy toads. During the entire process, both hands must be sealed. If separated, entering Sage Mode will fail. And after entering Sage Mode, the face will turn into a frog. It can be said that after obtaining the complete Sage body, Jiraiya has the strength of an elite Jonin at this moment. Even facing cage-level strongmen, Jiraiya is now capable of fighting. The complete Sage body increases Jiraiya's strength by at least several times. With the chakra in his body and this tenacious recovery ability, Jiraiya has been able to kill most ninjas. What is the function of the soul bottle? After being excited for a while, Jiraiya asked the system again. The soul bottle can absorb the souls of people who have just died and store them. Master, you can absorb souls through the soul bottle and sacrifice them to the Shinigami to activate the Shiki seal. But the soul bottle has a limitation, that is, it can only absorb the souls of elite Jonin. The souls of ninjas of other levels cannot be absorbed because their souls are too fragile to withstand the absorption of the soul bottle. The system is introduced. Jiraiya's eyes lit up. His system was really user-friendly. He could get whatever he needed. He was worried about how to make up for the shortcomings of the Shikigami seal. The system rewarded the soul-gathering bottle. Although he could only absorb the souls of elite Jonin, it helped him solve the drawbacks of the Shiki seal. As long as he collected a certain number of elite Jonin souls, he would not have to spend any money to activate the Shiki seal. In this way, even if he faces a cage-level strongman in the future, Jiraiya can choose to fight hard. Jiraiya was quite satisfied with this sign in reward. Jiraiya then extracted the soul bottle. The soul-collecting bottle is only the size of a palm, completely black, with a large number of runes on it, and it also exudes an ominous aura. It is somewhat similar to the scroll containing the Shikigami sealing training method given to Jiraiya by Uzumaki Mito. Could it be that this thing originally existed in the ninja world? Jiraiya looked at the soul bottle in his hand and couldn't help but guess. In fact, there are many other forces in the ninja world. Just like the Shinigami summoned by the Shikigami sealing, and the evil gods worshipped by Hidan. Jiraiya did not delve into this issue. After all, this was something given to him by the system and it would definitely not bring him any hidden dangers. It's time to go to Mount Myoboku and practice Sage Mode. Jiraiya plans to go to Mount Myoboku to ask Fukasaku how to practice Sage Mode. The two sages, Fukasaku and Shima, said that his previous body was not capable of practicing Sage Mode, but now that he has a complete Sage body, he is fully qualified to practice Sage Mode. In his current state, he is not able to practice Sage Mode. Then there would be no one in the current ninja world who would be qualified to practice Sage Mode. Jiraiya cast the summoning technique and headed to Mount Myoboku. Bunta, I recently mastered a new ninjutsu, come and practice with me. After entering Mount Myoboku, Jiraiya saw Gamabunta and planned to use him to test the power of the diamond seal. But he never expected that after hearing what he said, Gamabunta instantly jumped up and ran away, saying, Jiraiya, do you still have any humanity? Can't you see that the bandages on my body are still covered with blood? How can you bear to cut me? Now Gamabunta is like a mummy, with bandages wrapped all over his body and blood flowing out of some parts. Obviously, Gamabunta is still injured. Now Gamabunta is feeling a little overwhelmed. Damn it, Lousy has injured himself so badly, and you are still unwilling to let me go, are you a devil? Bunta, don't be afraid. The new ninjutsu I've mastered this time is not swordsmanship, so I won't let you get cut. Don't be so nervous. I will be very gentle with you this time. Jiraiya began to explain, and also jumped. His body turned into a shadow, and instantly caught up with Gamabunta. At the same time, he formed seals with his hands, and golden chains condensed around his body, wrapping around Gamabunta at an extremely fast speed. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.